Yeah, boy. All right, we're on with my old mate, Todd. How are you, bro?
Yeah, good, Jace. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Put the microphone up like I told you. Don't have to ask you again. Give some talks real quick. Fuck off, mate. I'll kill you.
What?
All right.
Yeah, good. I want it like hanging down, Jace.
What do you mean? Why? You always want a different A.
Like the rappers, you know?
Yeah, just bloody do what you're told, right?
Here, can you see your logo?
Yeah. Just pull it close, mate. Nah, don't worry about the logo. I want to hear you talk.
Oh, right.
Don't worry about the logo. Just pull it in, mate. Righto, so we are here with my homie, my mate, Todd Waters, fresh back off the boat from the US trip, mate. How's the trip? What'd you get up to?
Oh, the trip was amazing. You know, we had a break here in the MX Nationals. There was about a 7-week break, so we shot over there. There was about 8 of us. We got an RV. It was insane. The guys from RV California, they helped us out. It was, Mike, his name was amazing. RV was huge. You know, 3 pop-outs, slept 8.
Oh, so you got one of the big proper ones?
Yeah, big dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
They're sick, eh?
Yeah, so like Jill and I had king-size bed at the back with... It was kind of bigger than our room at home.
That's sick, eh?
Yeah, it had a wardrobe, overhead cupboards, and then there were bunk beds. Mum and Dad were at the front. Yeah, it was cool. Nikki's boyfriend Blake was over there racing as well. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, so Blake Cobbin, he was over there racing. He's doing
Was he doing the 250 class?
No, he's doing qualifiers for Loretta's. He's doing that program. So
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, so he was hanging out with us. So they put a mattress on the floor and they slept on the floor. It was cool. It's in racing. It's not very often you get to spend time with your family like that as a professional racer. When you race for teams and so on, they kind of own you, and you can have your girlfriend there. They kind of own you, and that's your job. So to go and race at a professional level and have your whole family there in an RV traveling, it is something special. I haven't done that before, so.
So did you guys just stay in the RV the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much. The first week we just flew in and we stayed with Jason's buddy. So we stayed in their house in California in Murrieta. That's kind of the hub of everything. Everything's around that kind of area. Glen Helen, Parla, all the tracks are there, and PC, and Husqvarna was there. So it was a super good area to just be based out of for the first week to get our bike, all our parts and stuff, and overall the support that I got was incredible.
So who did you get bikes off?
From Husqvarna.
Oh, really? So they just hooked it up?
Yeah, so Robert Jonas, I raced for Husqvarna in Europe.
Yeah, okay.
And so I shot Robert an email just asking, if there's a possibility of support for a bike. And, I didn't want the team support or anything like that. I just want to keep it super simple. And, if you guys can give me just a production bike, and I just bring everything I've got from here and pretty much ride. It was the same bike as what I race here in Australia.
Oh, so what did you take? You took suspension? Did you take a motor, or just rode a stock motor with a pipe or whatever?
No, so I took a Vortex ignition, my head. So, it's been cleaned up, and FMF pipe. So that's what we run here in Australia. The Husqvarna 450s, they have so much horsepower at the moment.
Yeah.
I rode a standard one and I was blown away. It's incredible. So, we're not making them rocket ships. Those days are gone. 2010, 2012, if they said, oh, here's a standard bike to go practice on, I'd be like, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not riding a standard bike and then having to race a race bike. Whereas now, man, all our race bikes are almost standard here in Australia. And pretty much around the world, the bikes aren't rocket ships anymore. They're actually kind of slowing them down. Like, if you notice, Ken Roxon's bike sounds very smooth, and I got to ride that last year, and it was very smooth and easy bike to ride engine wise. So those days are gone of just max out power. It's making them more rideable now.
What's it like on the starts though? Yeah,
my starts weren't great over there. That was my biggest downfall. Your
starts were shit.
Yeah.
I was like, is your bike just slow, or is it just like, because do they have like different ignition or mapping settings for starts? Do they do any of that sort of stuff over there?
Well, last year when I went over to Europe, we had like launch modes, like different modes where you hold the button, it flashes on your handlebar, and they set it at a certain RPM. and doesn't matter where you put the throttle. It's just
Really?
9,000 RPM for 3 seconds. So once you go over the gate, it sort of
Back to
disenables. And they also had a traction control, and
Really?
there's all different bits and pieces that the factory teams are playing with, and that's the advantage. But it's not, you know, I let myself down over there on the starts. Like, my starts weren't perfect.
And like, you mean as in like your own technique? It
Yeah.
wasn't like you nailed the starts, but you were just getting dragged.
Yeah, exactly. So Colorado was a little bit different. My starts were better. Second moto, I started next to the box to give myself a bit of room so I didn't get shut down. And I did not a bad start, but problem being, I'm starting in first gear. The thing, like, straight away when 30-second board goes up, you naturally put it in second gear, and then you go, oh, and click it down to first. Because the bike, it just lacks so much power. Colorado was a big wake-up call. You know, people talk about this stuff like elevation.
Yeah, like
Rob's
you always
power,
hear it, but you've
this
never
and that.
actually experienced it.
Yeah, so I experienced it when I raced the GPs in Mexico. The bike was slower, but I was quite fit then, so I didn't notice anything. I don't recall anyway. And I'm fit now. My fitness wasn't a problem at Colorado, but it felt like I had my hand over my mouth while I was riding. Like,
That's crazy, eh?
my heart rate was definitely up. Your throat was sore from puffing.
And it's like that thin air.
Yeah.
It like hurts your throat. You feel like, you know, when you're sick and you
Yeah.
got like that raspy, every time you swallow it hurts a bit. That's sort of what it gets like after a couple of days up there, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was kind of, that was massive for me. Like, going, you know, months and months of practicing starts, and it just becomes second nature to then all of a sudden start in first gear and going, man, is this thing going to spin up? Like,
Yeah.
doesn't seem right to start in first gear. But
Did
an
you do
actual
some starts
fact-
in second gear?
Yeah.
And it was
I,
just shit.
I stalled it almost. And it's an uphill
Really?
still. It's a uphill start.
Yeah.
So no chance. No chance at all.
Have you ever started in first gear?
No.
That's
Never.
gnarly, eh?
No. I couldn't get my head around it. But so pretty much, yeah, I just come out. There was a bit of a gap next to me, and I did a reasonable start, and I just got dragged. So that's where the factory bikes are an advantage, because the factory, they can just, you know, give a bit more power and for that certain event, and then they just change it back to their normal bike.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the beauty about being on a factory team opposed to the program that we were running. But yeah, overall it was great. Like, I was way off the pace at the start of the, you know, parlor. I think I was like 10 seconds off the front guys.
Yeah, really.
I qualified 13th, 10 seconds off.
That's so crazy that you can be in the top
Yeah.
15 and be 10 seconds off, because it was Ken, right, that qualified fastest that day.
And it was a super far, like, the track wasn't rough. You know, it comes into my advantage when the track's rough, ruddy, technical, where you're not just balls out holding it wide open. So the track at Parla was a bit more like that in our qualifying sessions and stuff. So I was off the pace. And then by the time it come, you know, last moto, we caught up to Barsha. We passed Baggett and those guys. So the track got really hard and holy, and you had to sort of turn off things and miss the holes, and it started working for me then. But starts nowhere. So we come through to 11th from, I think it was like 18th. I could get myself to around close to that top 10 from like around 20th, but would have been nice if I could have started definitely in the top 10.
Just to like know exactly where you're at.
Yeah, that's what I was disappointed with. I was always coming through, like Colorado. Last moto, same thing, come from outside the top 20 and caught up to what's his name on the factory Honda, Sealy.
Yeah.
So caught up to Sealy for what did we get, 14th. So yeah, it's, you know, would have been nice, but in saying that, amazing time. Like, I really enjoyed the tracks. Yeah. So Colorado was a different story. We still qualified around, I think it was 12th or 13th, but I was on the same second as Webb. I was 5 seconds off the leaders.
So you'd caught up like 5 seconds basically.
Yeah.
Could you feel yourself changing? Like you could feel yourself getting faster?
Yeah. And I knew that. Over here, my main focus has been fitness and to build that side of things and get my body right, get everything feeling good and fit and healthy, and then chase speed, because I've always been the guy holding the red plate and then in the hospital. So that comes from, you know, not being able to maintain my speed, just pushing 100% all the time, and So this year I was like, I'm just gonna let it come to me. We had the red plate, we had a DNF unfortunately, but we've caught up to third again. So we're in the championship. We've been winning a bunch of races, and I haven't felt, like I said, I'm just letting it come to me. And my main focus has been getting fit and healthy and get my body feeling good. So we went over there, we started working on some intensity, and that's what we're doing now, is going into that stage of our riding, focusing on speed. And, we've ticked off the box. Body feels good, I'm flexible, everything's fit and healthy. Now it's time to start pushing the envelope and, trying to get some speed out of it.
And so what sort of stuff are you doing specifically to like try and get faster?
Well, for me, obviously on the bike is I'm just doing motos. So your longer stuff. So it's hard to generate speed when you're setting in for 30, 40 minute motos. So now it's kind of changing. So we're doing some pyramid stuff. We're doing, working on stuff like that, like sprint stuff. So 1 lap, that kind of stuff. So it's much like running. If you're doing 30k runs all the time, you're not going to be, your muscles aren't pushing very hard.
Yeah.
You're going to get fit. But then when someone says, okay, you got to do a 200 meter sprint, you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
So, that's where I'm at now, is I'm training, trying to get the body used to pushing really hard. And that's the beauty with the motorbike, with motocross in general, is it's not just about getting the body to perform then. You've got to ride a bike fast.
Yeah.
You got to train your eyes to be able to go faster. Like, there's so much in it. It's that's what makes it really interesting.
Yeah, and it's even like with my training, like with this comp coming up, this week has all just been like bringing a pace.
Yeah.
Because like when I train normally, like we'll do 30 minutes of rolls a day, and I just want to get through those 30 minutes, because like in a comp, if someone taps, then it's like it's over. So it could be like a minute. But in training, if they tap, then you go again. Yeah. So it's like you're always getting the full 5 minutes of every roll.
Yeah.
So it's like you roll 5 dudes or 6 dudes. You're not like, if you tap a guy, then it's not like you sit out for the rest of the 4 minutes. Yeah. So you get in this pace of like, where how you can go to like make that 30 minutes every single day. But then...
Sorry, bro. Oh, that is hot, eh? Far out.
You're kidding.
Don't worry, bro. You can clean that up later. Don't worry.
Wait, those cups, is that a Yeti?
No, it's a Deep Creek. So we're at the Zion National Park.
It's deep heat, bro. That's what that is.
These things, they say that they're insulated.
They're insulated, bro.
I need to let some air in this big girl.
Blow off some steam, bro. That's
Thought I'd just have a quick cuppa.
That's
with old Jace while we're having a yarn. No, but it's insane. Like going back to the American thing,
dude, you saw some sick shit, eh?
Oh, like the racing was insane. Don't get me wrong. Like it was kind of. Oh man, you can clean it up later.
I'll clean it up. It's fine. It's concrete. We'll stay on the intensity thing real quick, but like, you do. I found myself like, you try and switch over into like a more of an intensity mode, and it's more of a, like, there's a physical thing to it, but it's sort of more mental, right? As well. Like you have to be in a certain mode to go like, I'm just pushing, like regardless of the time or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, it's so difficult for me because I'm a rider that I ride smooth and I carry momentum. So when I try and go faster, that means I brake later, which brings speed into the corner more, and all of a sudden I've stopped and smashed into the corner. Yeah. So I've lost all my momentum going out. So it's a really hard thing to be able to do, to just go, okay, I'm going to go faster now. Yeah. It's simple. Like you go, okay, I'm going to go fast now. We're going to do some sprints, and you end up going slower. So that's the most difficult part for me, is trying to work out just how to go faster by keeping the speed and the roll speed. And that's where, I've kind of always had it my whole life. Like Dad's like, mate, just relax, and then I ride better. The more I try, the slower I go. And I got to work with Ben Townley last year, and it was amazing. He picked up straight away. He's like, man, you need to stop trying so hard. Like, stop pushing so hard. So
because he's one of the smoothest dudes ever.
Yeah.
And he's so fast from being smooth.
Yeah. And it's just about picking the track apart and seeing where you need to push and where not to. It's whereas, man, I just used to push all the time. I'd just have the thing wide, you know, and it's not about that. It's about just trying to pick where to do it and where not to, and conserve. And that's why I found myself in hospital a lot of times, I guess. You know?
Just pushing too hard everywhere.
Yeah. And during the week as well, you know, like during the week I'd be pushing like it's race day, and it was, you know, I didn't really hurt myself that much on race day. Like it was, it come from like smaller races and stuff like that.
Yeah, where you were like really pushing because you could.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, you know, at a sunny state, you know, that cost me one of the championships. And that's like, I look now and I'm like, man, sunny state, that's nothing. Like I could have just packed up and went home, you know, like, so I guess that's just being mature and learning things. Unfortunately, we learn the hard way. But yeah, there's a bit of luck, but I believe it is a lot, of making the right choices for sure.
Did you learn from watching dudes like Kenny and Eli and Marv? Like, was there stuff that you picked up just by being on like the same track with those dudes?
They, not really, to tell you the truth. Like I got to ride with Marvin. One of the races, I'm not sure what happened to him. I think he might have crashed at Colorado. He was back anyway, and I was up with Sealy, and I went to cut under, and I was around 10th. Like, I got a good start, and I washed the front out. When I picked it up, started going, Marvin come around me, and coming down the hills, like, that's something that kind of Townley pointed out. I'd go in so deep, but then I lose a lot of speed because I go in so deep and almost stop in the corner sometimes. So it's better to break a bit early and build speed through the turn. Yeah. And that's what I've kind of been trying to do. And that's what I seen. I was coming down the hill at Colorado, and I went down the inside, and I just started catching Marvin down the hills. And I'm just like, what the hell? But, you know, then he carries the momentum through and down the straight, opens that gap again. So, that's I kind of seen, I'm like, you know, hey, they're way faster, but they're doing it easier in an easier way. They're just going faster everywhere, you know, whereas I might go faster down one hill than them, but then I'm slower in the corner and up the next hill because of it. Like, so they just keep a momentum around the whole track. It's not super crazy fast or it's not super crazy slow. Like, there's no stop starting. They just keep going. So that's the biggest thing, is the momentum side of it. Is they don't brake so hard, but they don't accelerate so hard. They just kind of, especially Kenny, he's so smooth.
It's crazy, eh?
Yeah, he's unbelievable to watch. Tomac, you watch him, he carries some ridiculous speed in some corners, but he doesn't brake. That's what I mean. He just carries it and then gets on the gas coming out. So like I was saying before, it's training your mind more than anything. Yeah, you know, hey, my body's well and truly capable of doing that. But it's just in my head. You got to be able to train your eyes to be able to do that. Yeah. And not freak out. And, you know, straight away, if I hopped in their boots and went into a corner that fast, I'd probably pull out and go over the rut or something. Because you're just not used to it. Yeah.
That's the one thing, like, I always would think about with motocross. And it's like the feeling of me going my fastest would feel the same as you going your fastest. Yeah. Like, everyone's got the same feeling, but we've all got this different ceiling. Yeah. Of like what you said, how our eyes see it. Yeah. And it's like, I've always wondered, how can you train that? Because essentially what's happening is fuck, hit the brakes. Yeah. But my fuck hit the brakes is like 20 or 30 meters before your fuck hit the brakes. Yep. And Kenny's is probably 2 or 3 meters past yours. Yeah. Like, it's the increment's so small, but like you said, you add that to every corner and then you get into 5 seconds or whatever for the lap. But it's like, I just wonder if there's like a way to train that specifically, because like with what we do at training, it's like drills, technical stuff, and then you go and do essentially you go do a moto. But it's not like you just don't go there every day and do a moto. Yeah. Because it's like you just do the same stuff. Yep. So it's like you've got to force yourself out of that. And I wonder, like, because I don't really think we do like drills in moto a lot. I think so much of it is just doing those laps and trying to figure out new stuff. And you might go, oh, I'm going to carry more corner speed this time. But I've always wondered, like, you know, go back to like the first day ever riding school, and it's like you put some cones there.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, this is where I hit the brakes last time. And it's like, I wonder if you could, you know, a dude at your level, if there's some kind of like system that you could develop around drills that would like just push that hit the brake response just that little bit further. And if you did the same corner like over and over and over, I wonder if your brain would just get used to the speed.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when like Vietnam was a good example when we did that Vietnam thing. It's like the first day you're like kind of not tripping, but it feels fast. You're like doing 80 or 90 Ks around turns, and you're like, fucking Jesus.
Yeah.
And then you're not trusting the bike, and then after a few days of it, you're just one-handed doing like as fast as you were going around the first day.
Yep.
So it's like, I wonder if there's something that a guy like you could do that would just be like real different, and it's almost like a drill style thing. And I don't even know if you do it. Yeah,
we're like I said, like working on speed. That's where we break things up, and you know, we practice starts. Then we'll do drills with, you know, sprint laps with starts. Then we break the track up and practice corners and berms and stuff like that. So there's definitely, you know, we do that sort of stuff, but it's just so, I don't know, there's so much in it.
Yeah, it's like, crazy. It's like unlimited amount of technique.
Yeah, there's just so much in it. Like I don't know. It like I've been doing some coaching skills with Ben Shadell, and
yeah, because like you do the coaching stuff, so you'd be doing those sort of drills and that.
Yeah, you just have kids, and you're just like I don't know what there is no way. Yeah. You know, there's no right or wrong way. You know, when you can see when I was in Europe, there's guys that they have terrible techniques, you know, by the book. You know, they've got elbows down, so there's no strength. You always teach to have the elbows up, and they're just going around the outside of you. You know, at the end of the day, they're just carrying more speed. They're just having a crack. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's just about doing that. And that's where Ben Townley's very technical. He's as a rider and as a coach, he really standing on the toes and, you know, works on that kind of stuff. And it's great. I just wish I had him when I was 16, because my mentality when I was 16 to about 23, when I come back from Europe, didn't care. Like, don't care. I'll just go around you. Yeah. Like, if you leave the door open, I'll go up inside you. I don't care if my elbows are down or I'm sitting too far forward, or, you know, I never used to stand on my toes. I just didn't care. I just went as hard as I could. And I believed strongly in momentum, and anyone can go that fast. That was what it come down to. And you naturally, if you're coming in the corner and the front's washing out all the time or pushing, you naturally start getting a bit further forward. You know, it just comes. When you do it enough, I believed if I did that corner 1,000 times, I'm going to work it out. Like, and that's kind of how my riding is, you know, not the greatest style, not, you know, sprint speed's not really there, but I'll be there at the end. And that comes from my mentality of, you know, if I do enough 40-minute motos, I'll pass you on the last corner. Yeah. Because I don't care about the photos that we get afterwards or anything like that. All I care is about going over the finish line first. Yeah. Being on that box. So, that's where I've kind of, when I spent some time with Ben, you know, he showed me some things that made it a lot easier. And I thought, man, like, don't like you now. Yeah,
I've been doing it wrong.
Yeah. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way. Yeah. But I was like, classic example, like, you know, staying on your toes and leaning back. It sounds simple, but I go in harder than anyone. If it kicked me, I'd go out and miss the bump. I was always really good for finding lines, and maybe that's because my technique wasn't good. Yeah. You know, under braking, I didn't have a good technique, so I'd wheelie that bump or jump that, or, you know, I think that's why the European track suited me a bit more, because 2 days of racing on a track, it gets brutally rough.
Yeah.
And you can pick lines and use that to your advantage. So I just wish like those simple little things like under braking, pushing back, and it would have helped me a great deal. Just spending a week with Ben, because I'm working on it every time I ride.
Yeah.
Even at nationals, when I get in the lead at Broadford, I'm working on stuff that Ben was telling me.
Really, you're
while
like
I'm out
thinking
there.
about it as you're riding.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's when you're racing, it's a different kind of feeling. 30 minutes is quite a long time in a sport. Like like a high intensity sport. Like there's not too many sports where you got to focus that hard for that amount of time. And I mean with a consequence that ends up in hospital. So pretty much when you're riding, you need to be trying to keep your mind on the job, because when you're racing, as you know, you're getting lead and you're like, oh my God, where are they? Like, I need your mind just starts going like, where's so-and-so? He might be coming through, or, stupid stuff. So I found that helped me out was just focusing purely on myself. Don't care. If you pass me, try and pass you back. Not the human mind just sometimes muddles things up and makes things more difficult. So that's like another story again. Like Sykes, they're huge.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing I've been thinking about a lot lately, and it's just like life in general sort of style stuff, is that the human brain is designed to solve problems.
Yeah.
Like if you look at day one of like fucking humans, it's like, okay, we're cold. All right, we got to figure out how to make a fire. I'm hungry. I got to figure out how to eat. Whatever. It's just this constant problem solving.
Yeah.
And then you push it to the point where we're at now, and we get to like choose these problems that we get to solve.
Yeah.
And it's like you choose motocross, and then there's these problems in motocross that you've got to solve. And it's like your brain is so designed to solve problems that if you're not on top of it, it's going to create its own problems. And I think that's somewhere where people just go wrong in general, like in their life, is like if they're not in control of the problems that their brain is creating, then they're just going to start making some weird problems about like, oh, I hate my fucking neighbor, and you know what I mean? Like real random shit.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like even at your level, it's like, you've got to pick your problems that you focus on.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the problem of just getting down this hill and smooth through this turn, as opposed to the problem of who's behind you, the points. And because it's so easy to like lose that control of your mind and like the problems that it's trying to solve.
Yeah. Yeah, like it ain't going to make me ride faster wondering, oh, I'm winning or so-and-so's pulling away or whatever. Like it just needs to be like, hey man, you need to come down this hill and be in the right technique for when you hit that bump, or miss the bump, jump the thing or something. So yeah, that's what's so cool about our sport. I love it. Like this year's been amazing for me. It's jumped on the Husqvarna and I can't keep off it.
Yeah.
Like I have a day off and I'm like, oh man, I got to go cycling and do that stuff. Like, why don't I just ride every day?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's a good place to be because you weren't in that place when you got back from Europe.
Yeah.
Like you were pretty down,
Yeah, I was struggling. It was long stories with that one, but pretty much we're back. I'm really enjoying racing the nationals, going over. We did that trip over in the States. Man, we met some amazing people. Like, Donnie gave us a tour through the FMF factory.
Dude, how good is Donnie, eh?
Man.
He's the biggest legend ever.
He is awesome. And I couldn't believe that, like, everything's made in China now,
they make everything in that one building. It's so gnarly, dude.
Yeah, but even I thought that they'd get pipe brought in, but they just get flat sheets of titanium and actually roll it, make the pipe.
Have you seen the rolls that they come in?
Yeah.
Like, I went there once, and it's in Compton too.
Yeah.
How sketchy is the area, bro?
Oh,
it's
man.
so gnarly. Did you stop at any gas stations or anything?
No, so we pull up in the RV. We couldn't park near the thing.
Yeah.
So we were like a block away. And Dad and Sister Nikki like open the door and they cruise out. Next, I go put my shoes on. I go to walk out. They're just bowling me back over. Quick, shut the door. Be quiet. And I was like, what? And we're like all hiding in the RV. This guy's got no shirt on, talking to himself, like kicking cars and looking over his shoulders if there's people there, like yelling. And I was like,
full crack.
I haven't seen anything like that. Like ever. I was like, I know people get wasted and like we have drunk people up north and stuff, but I was like,
this is a different level.
This guy, and he looks like you couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
Like he's so revved up. You'd probably punch him, you'd just keep standing back up. So yeah, there's a wild experience with that. That's for sure.
But then like the actual place itself is so sick.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you go in and like
Huge.
what they make there, like they've got all the 2-stroke pipes. Like it's such a sick spot, and like you can always find like Big Donnies on like the dyno 24/7. Like it's so sick that it never really changed, eh?
Yeah.
Like they just kept it how they like wanted it to, because like you said, heaps of shit gets made in China and stuff like that, and it's like those boys just like zeroed in on what they liked about the company, and then they just didn't change it.
Oh, I love it. Like Donnie was showing us through, and he's just like, yeah, look, we make the FMF, like the little stamps, you know, that gets welded on the pipe, like the logos, and I was like, that's insane, and how passionate they are about it, and made me passionate about it. Like I'm just like, this is awesome to be a part of a company that's like this, not just cruise in and they're like, oh yeah, we get our shipments in and store them over there. Like to see that behind the scenes stuff about FMF was incredible. And
they've got dudes that have been working there for like forever.
Yeah.
Like 30 years and stuff like that. Like those companies just they're just not around anymore.
Yeah.
Like those old school, handmade, American built. Like it's not like that anymore.
It was good. And we went to ODI as well, and same thing. Like they make everything in house.
I didn't know that. I've never been with them.
So it was insane. Like they just get, like the rubber comes in like these little balls, like what you find in bean bags, like that foam.
Oh yeah.
It comes in the rubber, the different colors, and then it's all made there. They have all these machines that make it all there. It's insane.
Really?
The process is mind blowing. Yeah.
And they showed you all through that as well.
Yeah, so it showed us all through that. So that was cool. Troy Lee, he made a trip out here for the first time this year.
Yeah, I saw that, eh?
Yeah,
he did that thing in Newcastle, right?
Yeah, so the guys from Lusty, Johnny was like, hey man, do you have 5 minutes? You reckon you come down? And we flew down, we hung out, we went and had dinner with Troy, and got to meet him, and then he helped us out when we went over. So
did you get me my pants or no?
Nah, man.
When are you going to get me back for those pants, bro?
Never.
You owe me a second. You fucked my life, bro. I worked so hard for those pants. You don't know how many DVDs I watched, bro. I cleaned so many DVDs for them pants.
So the story about Jason's pants.
Oh.
So I'm best mates with Jason's brother, Matty, and we're over and we're in the workshop. Jace was going on about how, I don't know what you're talking about, downhill or something.
Yeah, I was racing downhill all the time, yeah.
And he's like getting pretty excited, and I don't know what I was a terror of a kid.
Yeah,
I was a mongrel. Yeah. And I don't know, we were painting Matty's bike or something, and I was just like, I don't know why I did it. I don't know what happened, but I sprayed him anyway with this silver paint, and it sprayed his only replica Troy Lee pants that were in Australia or the world, actually. They made them for Jace. It felt like.
That's how big of a deal it was, eh?
I was just like,
it's
oh
like
my God.
It's like he spray painted over the Mona Lisa.
Yeah. But I don't know why it even happened, what that was all about.
I think you were just being a fucking terror.
Yeah, just a dick of a kid. But yeah, so that was a pretty funny story.
I never forgave him either. The story was, I was just pissed off because Todd was sponsored. And he got all his shit for free. And I had to clean fucking DVDs at Aquarius Video.
That's right. I remember you going off.
I was going off. You fucking get everything for free.
You don't care.
But yeah, I got over it. Nah, I never did get over it.
Should have just said, Jace, this will create a bond between us for years. We'll be doing podcasts in 20 years' time.
That was probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably was about that, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, the old the Troy Lee setup's pretty sick too, eh?
Yeah, so we went, like, when we got over, Troy's like, yeah, come hang out at his what do you call it, office, workshop, everything's kind of there. So we turned up there, and it was insane. Like, they had the full throttle thing with Grant Langston happening.
Oh, did you go watch it?
Yeah. So
that's cool.
We just kind of cruised in, and then Troy's like, oh yeah, like, we're doing this full throttle thing, like, come out. Walked out the back, and I was just like, are you guys kidding? Like,
yeah, it's like they got like a full bar set up type thing, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go on it or no?
No. Nah, so it was insane.
That's cool.
Like, really cool. So that was amazing to hang out with Troy. And then at Parla, I think it was, we're just in the camper, and next minute Troy pops his head up in our camper. I was like, hey, you want a coffee, bro? Come have a cuppa. So he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
Like just one of the good old boys, you know, just normal, just loves racing. Super talented at artwork. Like one of the helmets he did. I don't know what race he did. Can't remember whether it was the Baja or something like that. But he drew like the country on there and cactuses and all, like heaps of stuff. And yeah, he does an amazing job.
Yeah, he's a talented dude, eh?
Yeah.
It's crazy, like, that brand is just, like, so sick.
Yeah.
They do everything from, like, the mountain bike helmets are so sick to the moto stuff. They got, like, the team. It's almost like the, it's a really unique brand, dude, for it to cover that many sports, but it feels real core. Yeah. In a lot of sports, you know, you get some brands that'll go and they'll be across everything, but they don't feel like they started in everything. Yeah. Troy Lee sort of feels like it started in everything. Yeah. You know, like when I was racing BMX as a kid, Troy Lee pants, Troy Lee helmet, and moto, mountain bike. Like it just seems like anything that's with wheels is just like they have such like a core presence in it, which is hard for a brand to do. That's probably because Troy just loves the shit so much. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He just seems like one of the old guys that, you know, good examples like Glenn Jacobs. Like, you know, they're just in everything and they just froth it forever. And just, they're just part of it and they just do cool shit at it. And that's what I feel Troy, like I can just imagine him ripping and being out with all the boys on the mountain bike and painting their helmets and then doing a clothing line and just doing such cool stuff. Like didn't care about, oh man, I'm going to make this helmet. I want to make a heap of money off it. So I'm going to make a shitty little cheap helmet. Like he just was like, I want to make a sick bike helmet that everyone wants and paint it mad. And that's what he's done. Everything's such high quality. You know, he's aligned with some amazing brands like Adidas and Oakley, doing replica Troy Lee stuff with those guys. It's pretty insane, eh? Oh yeah, it's massive. And the weirdest part for me was like, I know Troy Lee as the brand name. As the brand, like as the company, like because we're in Australia, so I knew it. I spray painted your pants as if they were no fear pants, you know, like they're just like Troy Lee's a company name, you know. And then to go there and be like, oh hey Troy Lee, like so that's actually you. Yeah, that's funny how your mum named you after that brand, hey. Like it's kind of weird, hey. Well, for me it is anyway, because I'm just a simple mountain man, I guess, from Atherton. But it's that's like one of the crazy things about America, and it was gnarly for me, like living there for so long, is that you're just walking through the pits any weekend and it's like the thing that it's like hard to explain to people that like an industry is pretty small. Yeah. Like when you look at it from the TV and you grow up the way we did, like we grew up in Cairns with nothing around. Like it was just us riding motos together. Yeah. Like that's just it. And then even CDR Yamaha felt so big and so far away for us. For sure. And then America seemed even further away. And then you think like all the steps that it must take to get there and like to know those people and like it felt so big that it felt like impossible. And then when you get there, it's like those pits in an AMA motocross are like small. Yeah. And you walk through it, and once you've been there for 6 months, every single person is like, hey, what's up, man? How are you, dude? Oh, we should do this. Or, you know, like you'll run into Roger DaCosta at dinner and then, oh, why don't you sit down and have some dinner? And like, it's a small industry, and it's like, they're just cool people. Yeah. And they love it enough to where they've gotten there because of like loving motorcycles, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I think it's a big reason for it is because we don't know these people and we don't see it. So we amp stuff up so much, like Fox and Bell and Troy Lee and Oakley, like, you know, all this stuff is like, wow, you know, because it's not made here. So it kind of comes. So then
what I have, I just thought like, you know, it's crazy. Whereas in actual fact, it's just like a bunch of buddies that have made some stuff over there. And
Donnie, like FMF, perfect example. It's like they're just all mates in an office and then they're just like real good at what they do.
If you got them all in a room, it's just like us. Yeah, we all wear shoes. Well, my old man used to say like, we all put our shoes on the same way, and it's exactly right. And I guess another example is when I raced the World GP in Brazil, they have a rule that, like, I'm not 100% sure, but I got told that they have a rule that you can't import stuff to that country. It needs to be made there. So like Volkswagen have a factory there and they get stuff sent there and make the stuff. So I've been told. So they can't get stuff. So from racing, they'll have like a couple of Fox stuff, like little bits and pieces of some gear and that. So I've been told. So when we went there, they're just, you come off the track, they're just pretty much trying to strip you off. Yeah. Like they've never seen, you know, Troy Lee gear and like in real life and stuff. So it's the extreme again. Like we can get all the stuff, but they can't. So a lot of the riders were selling everything, and like I remember Tonkov selling his socks and like, just wild. Yeah. And Tony Caroli just like giving his stuff away, and it was insane. It was, that's pretty cool. So I guess that's a bit like us. We lived up in Cairns. I didn't see a pro racer. Like my favourite was Jay Marmont and Ryan Marmont. Yeah. I rode KDMs and was on the junior team. I'd never seen them before. First time I seen pros was when I filled in for Ryan Marmont on the factory bike.
Really? At
Toowoomba, and I rolled, like I was riding under 19s actually, so that year I did 3 rounds. So I'm watching them going, there's Jake Moss, there's Mackie, like, you know, and then Ryan hurt himself, so round 4 or something, I got a fill-in guest ride for Toowoomba on the pro lights. So I've jumped on Ryan's bike, lined up, and I'll never forget it. Cody Mackey went next to me and Jake Moss, and I was just like, oh my God, this is insane. Like, I wanted to get photos with him, and I'm about to race him. And I go and whole shot the race, and I'm just like, what the hell? You won that
race, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's so nice.
So it's just like, I can really understand that, because that's been my upbringing, like super excluded away from everything. We just did the junior stuff and didn't see that kind of stuff. So I guess that's why I appreciate stuff so much. Like when I go over and I meet guys, and you know, like I've had some stuff to do with Ben Townley and a few bits and pieces, Tyler Adderay when we're in Europe, and I'm sitting in the camper with Tyler Adderay, like in their camper going to do the Italian Championship. Like his daughter Brookie's plaiting me hair, and I'm just like, man, when I was 15, Jeff Lease gave me the Radaway edition bike. There was like a handful of them in the country, and he gave me like a Tyler Radaway bike. I just loved the dude. And then fast forward, whatever it was, 7 years, and I'm traveling around Europe with him, racing on the team with him. Like, so crazy.
Do you reckon, like, you see the guys that are in the US and they grow up there, and it's like they never get to experience that.
Yeah,
because they always grew up there, and they just end up like, oh, I hate Josh Grant, I hate this, and it's like Millsaps is a faggot, you know, like just all that sort of like bullshit that people would say.
Yep.
And it's like, do you think people miss out on like getting to be, you know, have that kind of like almost like that fan moment or that appreciation for it? Or do you think you can't have it when you grow up in like the center of where everything is?
Yeah, I'm like I've traveled so much and had to do with so many different sides of racing and stuff. Like I've had some good races, I've had a lot of shit races, and you know, I kind of look back and I'm like, I see all these guys that I've met, like Villapoto and these guys that they're like I couldn't believe that I've even met the guys. Yeah. You know, and then when you meet them, you're like, far out. I kind of, like in my heart, I kind of feel sorry for the guys. You know, like my life has been amazing. Like my mate Jack and Maddie and Luke Weaver, we spent most of our time fishing, like walking creeks, fishing, building pushy jumps, like, you know, making like little 50s, like building those up and building tracks. And like we had like a proper kid upbringing, you know, and then I got to choose to go racing. Like when I turned 16, it was like, hey mate, you got to start working. So I did my apprenticeship as a cabinet maker, And when I was building boxes, you know, I'd been cycling all morning and I'm at work putting boxes together to build a kitchen, and I'm just dreaming. I'm like visualizing like being at the Australian titles and imagine winning it, like winning races. Like to have
factory forks and like all that sort of shit.
Like I couldn't even dream big enough to get to the States or something like that. You know, from the upbringing that I had was just so away from everything. And I kind of look back now and I'm like, I couldn't change that, because like you said, you go to America and these kids are like ripping and they're just like,
it's just so standard.
They're riding with Eli Tomac, they're riding with Ken Roxon, they're going up. They're not going up and being like, hey man, can I have your autograph? They're just like, oh hey man, what's up? Like, yeah,
being cool.
Are we going to get lunch later or whatever? Like, yeah, they don't. I'm like a 23-year-old dude go over to Europe and I'm just like, there's Stefan Everts. Like, you know, I class myself as a full grown man and I'm wetting myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm on a full factory team. Like I'm a top 10 rider in the world. Like, and I still get that feeling. You know, I lined up next to Kenny on the weekend. a few weekends ago, and I'm just like, how sick is this? You know, like, I think that's a cool thing for me to have, because I don't think they get that.
Nah, and you'll always have that.
Yeah.
And like racing will go away at some point, and I think that's why you see dudes like,
hey, don't say that.
It will, mate. I tell ya.
I don't know. I think Kingy's still racing in New Zealand.
He's like 400, eh?
Yeah.
He's like almost as old as his bike, like almost as old as his CCs. He'll be 450.
Should we try and do something? I wonder if I can keep racing like at a good level, like professionally, and race your kid. Imagine that.
That'd be pretty sick, eh?
The only problem is I haven't got a kid yet, so
get on it, bro. Start shagging.
I've been trying.
Have you?
Yeah.
Are you actually thinking about having a kid?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That's full on, bro.
It's got to happen.
It's fucking scary, mate. I think about that and I'm like, man, I don't know if I could have a kid. I can barely look after myself. You saw how messy my ass was. Wouldn't work. Imagine if there was a kid up there just throwing shit around.
No, well, maybe you need that because you'd step shit up.
Maybe, eh?
Yeah. Everyone had it. Well, look at all our parents. Like,
that's what trips me out is like mum and like I was probably like 8 at the time that like by now. So like if I had kids and mum and dad did, I'd have a fucking 8-year-old.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine that, but it's just a different time, eh?
No, but they just got pregnant and were just like, you just step up.
Yeah.
That's how it is. It's kind of no choice. It's like when your car blows up, you're just like, well, I've got to fix this thing.
Fix it.
You know, like you just do it.
Yeah.
So the only thing is it lasts a bit longer, like good 16 to 20 years.
Oh, dude.
That's the only thing. But no, it's like for me, a lot of racers, they race and they got kids and stuff, but I don't know. I'm being an athlete for one, you got to be selfish.
Yeah, you do.
Like that's just how it is. And even though it's not my personality and my parents are both the most giving people in the world, I still am selfish because all I think about is myself, how to better myself, what I need to eat. You know, we go to a restaurant. Oh no, like I want to eat pasta tonight. I want to go here. Yeah. You know, that's what people don't understand is like as an athlete, that's all your life is. Doesn't, even though it comes across like, oh yeah, geez, he's eating out. Nah, man. Like you're walking around for an hour trying to find something that has like, that's clean, that just rice and some chicken, you know? So there's a lot of that side of it. And I couldn't imagine bringing a kid in. When I have a kid, I want to be taking him down the beach, taking him surfing, like upbringing like I had, you know, like,
I'm excited for all our kids to grow up here though, because like me, you, Maddie, Sam, if we all have kids around the same time, like, cause the way we all grew up was just like every Tuesday night, every Thursday night, every weekend, staying over for weekends, you know, the whole weekends and riding and build, like you said, building jumps, going up to the creek, fishing. Like, imagine how sick it would be to like, oh, can you take little Johnny surfing with you and Alan this morning, Todd, you know, and like the boys would be going surfing or whatever, like even going to jiu-jitsu together. Like, it will be sick to like watch the crew. Like, and the kids all sort of grow up together because I can't see them not being mates, you know.
No, you just force them, really.
Well, like, because true, eh? Like, he's a dickhead, he spray painted my pants.
Don't worry, mate, just go for a surf.
Well, don't worry, I spray painted his pants years ago, it's fine, he'll get over it. But like, it will be sick to like watch them all grow up together. And because I just want to teach. The thing with having a kid that I reckon is like, because you just see so many fucking dipshits in the world.
Yeah.
And you just wonder like how much effort their parents put into them.
Yeah.
And like with us, like we all had, our parents put so much effort into us and like taught us so much stuff. Like, and it was crazy when I was living in the States, it was real apparent too, because we'd be filming in all these crazy locations and crazy places, and like you go to Alaska and like dudes be struggling to build a fire, or you know, just like little things like that, like just basic stuff where it's like my dad taught me that when I was like super young. Yeah. And it's the guys like, where'd you learn how to do that? It's like, well, that's all we did, bro. Yeah. You know, so it's like I'm excited to get the chance to like build a kid that's yours into like a really good person with like a lot of skills. Yep. That it requires effort from the father or the mother or the parents or whatever, but it's like you get a chance to make like a little badass.
Yeah. Oh, I think of things like when we went to Argentina, we went out fishing and the guy's like, oh, I've never been, like, how do I do this? Like, I was like, do what? It's like an egg beater. Like, I'm not telling you to use like a bait cast where it's going to create like a crow's nest. Like an egg beater, you flip the thing over and cast it in the water. Like, and you're good. What sort of retard are you? Yeah. Like, you know, you're getting paid millions of dollars to ride a motorbike. You're a badass dude. And you're asking me,
you should like, know this.
What's this thing do? I'm like, man, I haven't even asked you to tie a lure on yet. Yeah. Like, I'm not asking you to make the lure, you know, so that's where I'm grateful. You know, we go there and I'm showing these dudes how to fish, and I'm like 5 years younger than them or so. And then we're like, pull up and I'm like, oh, I'm climbing up that cliff. I'm going to jump off the thing. They're like, what, are you crazy? And I'm like, what do you do? Like, honestly,
what else
like,
did you do as a kid? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm 28 years old and I'm still trying to find trees to make, you know, swings out of, and just our upbringing was amazing. The stuff we got up to, and I didn't really appreciate it till now. Like, I've traveled so much, and like you said, you go to the countries.
It's when you meet other people that are like badass dudes at what they do, but they can't do anything else. Yeah. And you're like, fuck, I actually do have some like skills, you know?
Like, if everything like turned to shit, at least I could go out and catch a fish. Yeah, we used to make spears and bow and arrows, and like we used to shoot stuff and whatever. Like, yeah, it's kind of funny, isn't it?
Even like driving and stuff. Like, we were driving when we were 5. Yeah. Full cars. Yeah. You know, the whole deal. And you get some people, it's like, oh, I can't drive a manual. You're like I remember one night. I remember one night Dad dislocated his shoulder coaching us at footy. His shoulder popped out, and it was his left hand, so he couldn't change gears in the Land Cruiser. So like, I sat on his lap, drove all the way from like North Cairns to Edmonton, and I sat on Dad's lap, drove the steering. He just did the throttle and clutch, and I'm sitting on his lap changing gears. Drove all the way home.
Awesome,
I was like 11 years old. Yeah, but it's like, it's that's the sort of shit that excites me about a kid. Is it like you get to do all that, and like, not that you want to give your kid, like, you want to give him an advantage, but it's more just the fact of like, you just get a chance to give someone like a skill set that can just fully carry them their whole way through life. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, even I think about that now with jiu-jitsu. Like, imagine if I was doing that since I was a kid. Yeah. I could just feel the confidence you'd have as a kid. You'd never get bullied by anyone. Because I look at Judd's kid, man, like Axel. Like, have you seen all the shit? Fucking wide open, bro. Like, he fought this kid in Singapore that was probably like 20 kilos heavier than him. Yeah. Jumped on his back and fucking choked him. And it's like, that kid's like, I got bullied as a kid. Yeah. Like, I was always getting in fights and stuff, but it's like, I wasn't necessarily knew how to fight. I only learned how to fight because I got in fights. Yeah. But it's like, imagine if you just were that kid that no one ever fucked with, ever, because they're like, they see your dad put on Instagram that you're choking dudes out every day. But, you know, just shit like that. It's like such a crazy advantage for a kid going into his life.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. And I guess I've felt that a little bit when we've been doing some coaching schools. You know, you have little kids on like 65s, they're 7-year-old or something, and as a racer you don't realise, like, you're like, hey man, like you got to use your clutch, and like, you kind of go back to basics. And I think that's what a kid would be like. It'd be fun just to teach them like all the basic stuff. And then you think about the stuff that you already do, but you could do better.
Yeah.
Like from coaching, I've kind of taught myself a lot, like picked up on a lot of things, like just watching the kids and being like, hey man, like you need to do this, this and this. And then you walk away and you're like, I need to do this, this and this. Like, it's kind of cool.
Well, that's like Townley with his kid, man. Like his kid fucking rips.
It's going to be insane.
Yeah, it will be pretty rad, eh? And like, can you imagine, because what's going to happen, especially in like the GPs and stuff, is you're going to have like Liam Everts versus, you know, Ben's kids. It's going to be like, and then who else? Like there's probably a million old dudes that were like really good, and their kids are going to be coming up and
well,
racing.
you got the like when I was over there, the older guys like Strybos and Max Nagel, and they've all got their kids sort of coming as well.
Have you seen Liam Everts ride?
Yeah,
Stefan's kid.
I seen him when he was over there, but then when he went to Ben's, he made massive improvements. And
really?
Yeah, he's been killing it.
Oh, that's right, because Stefan sent him to Ben's too.
Yeah, for I don't know, month or
how cool
months.
is that, dude?
Yeah,
like that's pretty sick. Those guys were like full rivals, eh?
Yeah.
Teach up my kid.
Yeah. Well, then Ben went and raced for Stefan on Suzuki.
Yeah, that's true too. Eh? Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So what did you make of the tracks over there?
That's way different to what you think. Like kind of like we do with everything, amp things up. We watch it on TV. Australia only watches America pretty much. Like, you know, I did anyway. So you create this big bubble of like hype and everything's huge and stuff like that, you know. So when I got there, I was like, whoa, the start straight's not as long as I thought. Like they've got really short start straights.
And it looks different on TV. It's wide angle lenses and it's all the shits up.
And the track looks narrower than what I imagine. Tracks are badass. The one thing that they kick ass at is preparing a track. They get the rippers and they rip the hell out of it. They water it. Then they come over and fluff it all up with the rotary hoe. Like you can't do it any better. So the preparation of the tracks, the jumps aren't as big as I thought. They're great, like awesome jumps. I found that the tracks were really good race tracks. Like they just prepared really well. The jumps you're not getting this butterfly feeling going, man, I got to jump that jump for 30 minutes, you know, like nice jumps to watch. But as a racer, like not scary, you jump at second lap. So everything was really good. The main difference I felt was coming down the hills, their bumps, I don't know, their bumps felt like soft.
Yeah, they are, dude, eh? They're like, you can hear a move almost, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was tripping out a bit. I was like, man, these things are sucking me in. They feel like mattresses.
Yeah.
You know, whereas our tracks and the GP tracks,
it's like skiddy.
Like rattle your teeth out. Yeah. Like even though they rip it and it's awesome the way they prepare tracks here also, but they must have mulch in it. It's almost like they fill it full of helium or something. Like it just feels soft.
Because you can hear it thud, eh?
You're
like, do, 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 do.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
Because over there, I remember you'd film races and you could actually hear how fast dudes were going by how loud it was when they hit the bumps.
Yeah.
Because it's like thuds and you're not skidding down them.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in Oz, it's like you're actually, you can hear your tires skidding. It's like this hard jarring sound. You're getting like chain slap and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, over there, you're right, man. There's the weird soft mounds of bumps and they move a lot and then they actually sound weird when you hit them.
Yeah. And then like Colorado, Colorado's like this S-bend sort of before the finish area and it was ruddy, you know.
Yeah, I remember that.
Super ruddy. And I remember watching the race afterwards and seeing Tomac sort of like coming through and his leg dragging like in the first moto. So the first S, I was going out I'd jump very wide like that and then I'd turn like midway and cut across the ruts and end up on the inside where there's no rut and power down the hill. And I do that a lot. That's sort of what I look for. When the rut gets too deep, I'm not going through there. I cut and I make ground up like that. And I wasn't able to do it on the next one, but I went and watched the MX2 race and I was like, oh, sweet. I'll be able to cut this way, go, cut, and then jump the little double around the hill. Like, spot on. And because you lose a little bit of time there, but then you accelerate and across them and you're building so much momentum down that next straight. Like, you can really attack then. Saves energy, everything. And so I was looking at that. And then before our race, I went out and flattened it all.
Oh, really?
And I was like, wow, what's the deal with that? And I was kind of like a bit gutted, but then it goes back to how well the Americans do things. Like they, like, you know, the commentators, everything, they make a show out of it. Like it's such a well run event that they don't want to see their pro dudes going into all these ruts with their legs off and looking like squids. Like they want to see proper racing and dudes hitting stuff hard. So I respected that, like the way that they did that. 'Cause like in Europe, it's brutal. Like I can't explain how brutal it is. It really is. Like the guys, you're doing 2 days on the track and you turn up on the Sunday and there's been no work done to the track. It's rough. Like it's beat up. And the gnarliest thing is there'll be like deeper ruts than I was just talking about. And you're jumping like a quad down the hill. Like I'm talking, you'll go out there and you'll be scared like at some of the jumps. The jumps they build are just incredibly big. And so a lot of the time the 250s don't jump the stuff. Like last year in Indonesia, there was a triple down the hill, like 250, no one jumped it all day. And we're coming around and you're just like lining these ruts up and just every lap you're just going like, huh. Like you don't even think actually. Like you don't think anything. You just come out of the corner and you just look at the thing and you almost hold your breath and you hit it. And then when you land, you're like, oh yeah. It's full on.
Is that why do you, like, because as a dude that's raced the GPs and now some nationals in America, why do you reckon that the Euro dudes are smashing the American guys at the moment?
Yeah, well, it's a combination of things. America's huge on Supercross, so they obviously do Supercross and Motocross. So that's a massive thing right there. You know, Euro dudes are just racing Motocross. So it'd kind of be like if the Euro dudes come and race Supercross, you know, because they don't practice it. It's kind of a similar thing like that. So they just live and breathe motocross. So it's hard to compete with that just straight up. But then they're doing 2-day formats. So on the Saturday is like what we just raced in America. And then you wake up the next day and you walk to the track and you haven't scored 1 point yet. You know, so you're quite fatigued, obviously, because you've had a qualifying race that just gives you gate pick. Doesn't really mean much. And so then you go out and you're already, the edge is off you because you're fatigued, and then you got 2 35-minute motos to do on a rougher track, which is gnarly. So the thing, you know, you do start to see a bit more like kind of some of the tracks get so rough that it's almost like trail riding because it's, you know, because they are so beat up. But when you're in that program, like when you're in the GP program, the 2-day event, you get used to it and it doesn't bother you. But then you notice it when you go somewhere else. Like when we come back to Australia, I was like, the next day I was like, after a national, I wonder if I should just go ride on Monday. Like, you know, I don't feel anything. Our tracks are a bit smoother and whatever, just because of the volume of riders. Our tracks are quite physical as well. They're more styled to Europe.
I think I think Aussie tracks get rougher because it's so much more like bop, bop, like just point and shoot. And it feels like it's always, because it's not these big wide open sort of flowing tracks. Yep. So I feel like it gets pretty aggressive braking and acceleration bumps. Yeah,
and you got to be tricky. Like Australia gets gnarly ruts and like holes in them and stuff, and you got to be tricky about like turning out and missing that big pocket and then wheeling this bump. And like Australia, that's why you see a lot of Australian riders doing well around the world, not winning world championships or, you know, high level, but there's a good stack of dudes that are not too bad. And especially coming through now, we've got Mitch Evans over there. We've got Young Beaton, you know, there's a bunch of dudes. Wilson Todd's just had a taste over in America. He's definitely fast enough to do something.
Yeah, he went well at Hangtown, eh?
Yeah. So he's it's difficult. He had a similar thing to me, like had some bad starts. Yeah. So, you know, we'll see Wilson. If you give him a couple good starts, he'll perform for sure. He's got the speed. He can do it. It's just it just takes time. It's all new for him. It's new tracks, new team, you know. it'd be nice if he had 8 or 10 rounds where he settle in a little bit
and like get a rhythm going
and then go.
I wonder when the US started going back and doing Motocross of Nations in like, what was it, like 05 or something, I guess it would have been. It's like, I wonder if they were just winning because it was like Ricky Carmichael, and then it was James Stewart, and then it was Dungey and Villapoto. It's like, was it just that those guys were so good? They had like those superstar level dudes, but then now that it's like, not saying Eli's not a superstar or, you know, but they're not taking like those guys like Ricky Carmichael's in the conversation for the best overall motocross dude ever, fastest dude ever.
Yeah.
James is in that conversation. You know, they're the dudes that almost like took the sport to another level. But it's like, if you take them out, do you think that this is what always would have happened to America in like Motocross of Nations? Just because the Euros are so focused on like motocross all the time.
Yeah, but I think...
Or do you just think the level stepped up in Europe too?
Yeah,
now?
I think the level in Europe, like you've had people like Ken Roxon come through as a young age and start kicking ass, and he come over here, and obviously Marvin as well. But then you've had guys, see, the top dudes always come over. Like Grant Langston was over, he comes over.
Yeah.
You know,
and now they've sort of stopped a bit, eh?
All the dudes are been coming over, like you name them, Tyler Raderay, Ben Townley, they've all raced, won world championships, and then come to America. And then you've got a dude like Hurlings, it's like, well, Crowley's always kind of been there, but Hurlings is something different, and he's just like, man, I just want to stay here. And now all these younger kids are just like got him as a benchmark, and they're all just kicking ass. Like they're all pushing, they all see what he does, and he rides it, you know, you go ride and he's at the track all the time. It's not unusual to see Jeffrey at the track because he rides more than anyone. So you just got dudes on 80s, you know, and Hunter and Jet Lawrence are classic example. You know, they were at the tracks around these dudes, and Hunter's over there doing well now. Well, his brother is about a replica of him at the moment, and the kid's only just 15.
So you reckon Jet's as fast as Hunter?
Oh, look, you know, like talking to his old man, he's like, man, he's going hard. I didn't actually see him, but last year I seen him ride in Europe, and he's winning MX.
Yeah, what's
it called? The European, European Championship races.
It's pretty ridiculous, eh?
No, that's not normal, honestly. Like, and that's what I kind of get upset about here. Is it's like as a kid, I'm fishing and all this kind of stuff, and I look back and I'm like, I was 15 years old, faster than anyone at home, any of the pro, like the seniors, anything.
Yeah.
But I wasn't allowed to go at a practice day on the track with them.
Yeah.
Like, no, juniors and seniors has to be split and blah, 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 because of safety. Safety? What do you mean safety? I'm faster than all the seniors here, and you think it's safer for me to ride with dudes that are like
20 seconds a lap slower?
Yeah. Shouldn't it be unsafe for me to be in there? I should be in with the dudes that I am faster than.
Yeah.
Like, and they just always holding you back. Like, doesn't matter what it is, it's holding you back. You go do practice days. Hey man, can I do 30-minute motos? Nah, sorry bro, 15s today. You're like, yeah, always. It's just always like a constant stepping on your head sort of thing. And then the Lawrences, you know, they go over. Man, Jet's like, he's 14-year-old kid. And I'm just like, he's going around me, man. Like, and why? Because he's actually out there with me to go around me.
Yeah.
14 years old. I don't know what size pants. I don't think they even made adult pants for that guy. Like, when he was racing, it was like he's just such a little dude on the bike, and he's just kicking everyone's butt. And I felt like crying. I was like, this is how it needs to be.
Yeah. This
kid's out there. Because when you're 14, you don't get tired. Like, you know, the training doesn't really matter. You just, as long as you're riding the bike.
Riding.
You don't really, it's not till you get 18, 19 that you need to start doing serious physical training off the bike to even be able to make the motos, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas when you're 14, you can ride all day. You don't really get sore that much. And he's just ripping. And because he's had the opportunity, he's chasing his brother around. Stefan Everts is out on the track testing the bike.
They're not saying, no, you can't go out unless it's with the 80s.
Yeah. So that's the difference. Like, He's out there and Everts is like, hey man, just jump on with me. Let's do a moto. Follow me. So 14-year-old kid's doing 30-minute moto, following one of the best dudes in the world, you know. Over here, no, sorry man, you're just going to have to do those 12-minute motos. Like, and that's what I get a bit upset about. And kind of, I guess, like I look at, because Dean and I grew up together and the stuff that both of us have kind of achieved in Europe and that, I'm sort of like I remember standing on the box and just being like, how's this even possible? Like what? It shouldn't happen, you know, honestly. Like, it's because of you see everyone else, how they go about things, and I'm not practicing starts. I'm just flicking up against the thing, trying to catch that little brim. Like, you know, so that's where, yeah, it'd be nice if, I know it's a lot of safety things and bits and pieces, and I do agree 60 shouldn't be on the track and stuff like that, but it'd be nice if you seen a kid like Hunter when he was 14 or 13, you know, hey man, like how come he can't race with us? Like, if he's fast enough to jump in with us, you know, at the sunny states, because there's normally only a couple pros, we're almost lapping the whole field. Chuck the kid in with us, you know, like, then you'd have world champions for sure, because we've nearly got world champions in Australia. Like,
with people stepping on heads.
Yeah, Ferris, he won some GPs in the MX2 class, you know. Imagine if him and I had that sort of pushing, you know, where we were really seriously pushed, like racing and stuff at a young age, you know. Same with, you know, there's like a ton of guys, like Hunter's going over there, you know. I just think there's such good potential here in Australia for the results that everyone's getting at the moment. You know, it's definitely something to learn from, because we've got a strong country to be able to prepare for the world. Like our tracks and stuff, we've got deep sand tracks, we've got the hardest hard pack tracks, we've got what we need. In America, it's difficult to find that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, from here, I've got a gnarly sand track, and I've got hardest hard pack tracks, I've got rip tracks during the week. I can prepare for the world pretty easily here in Australia. Whereas when I go to California, it's like,
it's all the sort of the same. It's all super prepped.
Well, even though they're like, oh yeah, but you can ride Glen Helen, you can ride this, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not rough, man. Like, every time you go there, it's smooth. You know, I've got tracks here that they don't get prepped ever. They're private tracks, and ever. I mean, you go around, you take crew there, and they're just like, do 10 minutes, like, man, I can't hang on, my back's burning. You know, like that's Lommel material.
Yeah.
Sort of there. Whereas it's kind of, I know they have stuff in the States, but it's like Eldon Baker's stuff and like different bits and pieces. So, and
even they're prepping it pretty much like it's going to be for the race conditions.
Yeah.
It is super frustrating. Like and I mean, even like the last time you come on here, we talked about it heaps. It's like, do you think Mick Fanning would be world champion if every time it got over 2 foot at Snapper, they pulled the kids out of the water?
Yeah.
It's like, nah, man, you get to figure out. If you think you can fucking surf and make that drop from behind the rock, then go and do it.
Yeah.
And it's like John Florence surfing pipeline at like 11.
Yeah.
That's why he's the best surfer in the world right now.
Yeah.
It's like if you get kids and it's like you can't pull them back and you can't make them feel like something isn't in their league, and you know, you can't put ceilings on these guys and expect them to grow up to be like the best in the world. Yeah. You know, you have to, there has to be no ceiling. Like, you do have to be safe, but like, dude, we've seen guys that, you know, I've had fucking my shoulder completely smashed apart from like falling, just like basically stalling in a fucking sand berm that was in a hill.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the slowest crash you can have, and it just destroyed my shoulder. Yeah. So it's like, and then you can have crashes that are enormous and you walk away. Yeah. So it's like, you can't protect kids against crashing. Yeah. And like how bad it's going to be, you know, based on who's on the track with them or how long the moto is. Like if you've got those kids that like want to be special and they want to be the best in the world, like you can't handicap those kids based on like what you think is safe or what your fears are. And I mean, how many people making the rules at MA have like raced motocross, or, you know, what sort of experience are we even talking about here.
Yeah.
To like where they are making rules. And I mean, I don't know, maybe they are super experienced and have raced for whatever, but it's like I if I had to bet, I wouldn't think that would be the case.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show, like in Europe, you've got the opportunity to be a badass kid, whereas here you can't. Like over there, you can actually make a living as a kid because you are winning races. You got that opportunity. Like Tonkov, when I got friendly with him, he raced his First Nations when he was 14.
That's so gnarly.
MX Nations. And Prado, in 2016, I lined up on the start line. He was next to me on the factory KDM, and he just turned 15. And, you know, like I wish I had that opportunity. Like, that would have been insane. Like, to be able to do that. But, unfortunately, I can't. It's impossible. Like, to be able to do that here. Like, even if I put my name down, they'd be like, oh no, you're junior, man. Like,
yeah, you can't do it.
You just can't physically do it. And the result of that is Ken Roxon's. Ken was a young kid. You got Parado now.
Hurlings was the same.
Yep. So all these guys are just incredible. And people look at them and they're just like, man, like Jeffrey and like Ken, like from Australia, they're just like, man, it's insane. And I'm like, nah, it's not insane. I'm like, it's insane that Dean can go over there and stand on the top step of the MXGP MX2 class, and like myself stand on the podium at Madura in the MXGP class. Like, that's not right.
That's crazy.
Like, it isn't right.
Because you didn't get the same chances.
No, well, it's only going to happen. Like Prado, when I seen that kid, he was 13 or 12 when I was over there, and he was at the track with us in Spain riding on 85 and 125 with us. And I was like, oh, who's... And they're like, oh, yeah, it's a Spanish kid. And my girlfriend Jill, she was going swimming in the mornings, and he was going swimming there, and she was chatting with him, and he's like, yeah, I'm state champion. Well, Spanish champion for swimming. And, you know, like, this kid, like, you look at that and you're like, yeah, well, he's going to be world champ. Like, why not?
Yeah, he should be.
Like, it's the only thing that stops these people are injuries. And that's unfortunate, but 100%, and you've seen it. It's Hurlings is world champ, Prado's
but there's
world
no
champ.
one trying to keep him down.
Yeah.
They're just going, just go for it.
Yeah. So they just have full backing. So I think that's a big thing. And, you know, obviously, hey, I'm older dude now. Like, it's not like I've kind of had that opportunity, and I'm thankful for everything I've done. I'd just love to be able to try and help get kids, you know, to do things differently to what I did. Obviously have a good life and everything like that, but man, if you, like, I believe in racing, if you could get top kids, like, I'm sure if we went to Australian titles and the dudes winning those classes, they could race with us. Like 40 and 50-year-old kids, I wouldn't lap them, I don't reckon, but I'm lapping lots of dudes at the nationals now. So that's, yeah, it'd create full gates. It'd create a high level in Australia, like, and it's really, you just be specific with who you choose. Like, it's like a pro license. If you're good enough, you get a pro license. It's no difference what age you are. I think that would be pretty cool.
Man, it's a really good point. And I always think about the Loretta's kids. Like, they're 15, 16, and they're on 450s.
Yeah.
Like, they're letting them ride 450s. There's a 450 Pro class, a 450A, a 450B, a 450 Pro Sport.
Yeah.
So it's like, even that, they're getting a chance as these kids to ride, like, bigger bikes. They're getting a chance to go faster. Like, I mean, there's an argument to be made that it's not super safe, but it's like, is it any more dangerous than going over the bars on a 250? Is it any more? Like, I just don't think that's the game that you can play. Like, we're not in a risk management sport. We're just in a risky sport, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like you said, it's a risky sport. Like, I don't really go base jumping because I feel it's quite risky, you know, but those dudes do it and they don't care. And that's kind of how I am with riding. Like, I've done it forever. I don't see it risky, so I do it. So people involved in motocross, they're not doing it hoping that they don't hurt themselves. It's not even in your mind, because really, it's not really a dangerous sport when it comes down to it. Like, the amount of hours that we put in and the injuries that we have is quite small. So it's that side of it. I just think people get so caught up in that these days with everything. Like, yeah, it just blows me away. It'd be nice if we just could go back like when I was younger and just kind of just go racing. You know, there's now can't have push bikes at the tracks, and there's just like heaps of just going. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what the thing is about it all, because there's people getting sued still. You know, like I believe like QMP's got a case on. I don't know if it's been or done or whatever, but you know.
What was that for? Do you know?
Some kid hurt himself on one of the tracks, and yeah. So yeah, there's, if you're gonna sue, you can't stop it.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't matter the rules.
I think the thing that it's like a really good example of, all right, we're obviously not doing something right if you get Jet and Hunter leave at 10 and 14 and literally never take a look back at Australia again.
Yeah.
And be like, bar Felicia.
Yeah.
I'll see you when I've won some world titles, won some AMA titles, cashed up. Probably might not even ever come back. Like, look at Chad. Same thing. It's like the dudes that have had legit success and not just motos here and there and good, you know, good podiums like yourself. Like the dudes that have won championships and made this like legacy style career, they said, peace out, Australia.
Yeah.
We're never coming back. And it's like, that to me is, it's like, it's sad that that's what it comes to, but that's the reality of it. And it's like, if you're at Motorcycling Australia, or if you're running the nationals or whatever, it's like, that to me is, I don't think there's an excuse. Like, the writing's on the wall. Like, there's something wrong here. People don't feel like they can compete at the top level by living and racing the series that you guys put on under the Motorcycling Australia Association that you guys govern. Like, people are leaving. The only people that do good leave here.
Yeah.
And that to me is like, isn't that a red flag? Like, shouldn't that be something that we're all just going like, all right, what do we got to do different? Because it's like, isn't that the goal? To have these guys, like, they can live here, they can stay with their families, they don't have to sacrifice their entire life just to go and win. And it's like, you know, you look at Townley, it's not like he's just left and never went back. Like, he feels like he's got what he needs in New Zealand to make shit happen.
Yeah.
But it's like in Australia, it's just, everyone's just like rats off a ship. Like, if you want to take this seriously and you want to do well, and I wonder now with how good Hunter and Jet are doing, if that's going to open up the floodgates and like everyone's going to start leaving. I wonder if that is going to be like this new norm that we see over maybe like the next 10 years. We see like 4 families that just completely dip out. And it's like, you'd got to think that, imagine if we had Hunter and Jet racing here before they left, or they could go from here straight to America. It's like, imagine how much that would lift up all the riders here, because it's not like they're just going to win every moto they ever race. Like, there's going to be a few kids that would challenge them, or a few riders that start beating them and battling with them. And it's like, all of a sudden the overall level just starts to lift.
Yeah. I think like that's a difficult point, because for one, like, you're chasing world championships. Like, so you're going to have dudes, you know, if you're at the top level, you're going to leave. Like, that's just how it is. But I
not
do,
at 14 or 12.
Yeah, but I do agree with, you know, I feel sorry for a lot of the promoters because of the rules that have been put in place. That's the tricky part.
They get
with
handicapped, yeah.
Well, the promoters get, you know, it's easy to point fingers at the promoters of the events. Like, oh, this event's crappy or blah, blah, blah. And that's what I've kind of seen now. They kind of don't have control of a lot of the things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's a lot of rules and stuff coming in, and unfortunately, they're the first ones to get blamed. Like, oh, this championship's shit because we can't ride our push bikes, or we can't do this or this or this or whatever. But then in actual fact, the poor promoter's like, well, it's not us. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing I see, and I feel sorry for. And I don't really know how to speak about it, because like in all honesty, I'd love to be a part of helping. Like, that's a big thing that I'd love to do now. Like, I've done some coaching stuff and I really enjoy that. And I'd love to be able to help and guide and, make changes to be able to improve our racing.
Yeah.
Like that would be, because I'm very passionate. I love racing. I love motorbikes. I love the whole side of it. I feel like I've got a fair bit of experience from around the world now.
Well, yeah, you've raced in all the big series now.
Yeah, like see how it all works. And like, honestly, there's just heaps of little things. Like, I did 3 rounds over there and we got the hard charger award and then we got the privateer award. And it was like, at the end of the day, the hard charger award, like it's Ricky Carmichael hard charger award. Like it's a awesome trophy, like, but it's not like they're massive, huge trophies, like they get gangster trophies that they get guitars and like, they put a big effort into their trophies. So their trophy, like they give it out at the next riders briefing, like everyone's at riders brief and they give out the hard charger and privateer award and it just makes you feel sick.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, hard charger award is...
That means you pass the most dudes in both motos, right?
Like, you charge through and it's... Even though to most people it's like... And to a professional like, oh, whatever, but...
That just means they got a bad start.
Cruise up and you get the hard charger award, like, and you're like, I'm stoked on it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, I look back and I'm not like I used to be. Like, you get stuck in quite a mindset like, man, I need to win, like third shit, like whatever. Because that's kind of how I was when I got my podium in Italy. I was kind of like mad, but I want to win. Like I'm standing on the podium going like, how can I get there? Sometimes like now I'm quite big on like appreciating and like smelling the roses, because that's something that I kind of missed when I was over there. You just always like, oh, this should be better, this should be better, this should be better. And you don't realise like, man, what the teams actually do for you, like the people involved, what your trainer's given up, like to help you get there, your girlfriend, like there's huge things. It's so easy to just put the blinkers on and just, you don't realise like the gear dude who's giving you like 7 sets of gear at every race and
he's
boots
missing
and
his
helmets
family and he's missing his kid just to be there.
Like all this stuff until it kind of goes, and then you're like, man. So that was like a big thing for me. Like hard charger award was sick. Privateer award, it's just little things that I think I'd like to be a part of and help out, like with our stuff here in Australia. It's to give different little awards out and to have some stuff. Like my fondest thing when we were kids at Mariba club days, we used to have like BMX tracks built, man.
Yeah.
There used to be holes everywhere. We used to just dig holes and build doubles, put fires in them and jump them. Hey, if you land in the fire, you're a loser.
Yeah.
You are.
Fucked up, son.
Yeah. Like it don't matter. Go whinge to your mum, you burnt your foot, heels up, happy days. It's not big deals, and now you can't ride your bike, you can't do that stuff, and I feel sad. Like this mischief we got up to as kids, like we were terrorists. The amount of times that not my mum and dad smacked my bum for doing things. I remember Sonia Nash smacking our bum, lining us all up, smacking our bum, because we're throwing rocks at each other. We'd stand at each end of a berm and be pegging rocks over at each other. Someone gets hit in the head, runs to mum, Sonia lines us all up and smacks our bum. Like, yeah, these things happen. I don't know. I don't think rules and that kind of stuff need to be put in place. I think that's where the fun... I wouldn't say fun, because racing a bike's fun, but...
You're not just there to race, though.
No, it's not, because it's such a family sport. That's what I love about it is, your mum and dad, you come and everyone's kind of there, and it's just like it's more than just racing a bike. And now I feel like it's racing a bike.
Yeah.
Like the championships are like riders briefing at 8. Like I go to a sunny state now and it's like riders briefing at 8, ride, race, and then, presentation. And I'm like, I turn up there and I'm like, where are the kids at? Like, oh no, they race on Saturday. I'm like, oh, fair enough. Like, and then you race, and then where's presentation? Oh, I don't really know. No one's there. Like, it's kind of just, it's like everyone's like, man, we got to get in and just get out. Like, it's lost. Whereas,
like the vibe's gone.
Yeah, whereas it used to be like all of us, you know. I remember when you got your first car, like turned up at Mareeba and you had like that Black Ant clothing that you started up.
Yeah, the old Triton. That was Jacob's old car.
Yeah, and you had like subwoofer in it, and we didn't have cars. And I remember being on me pushy then, and like just, I think we'd leave the track at night time because the parents are talking.
Man,
and
we would be at the races for fucking hours after the race was done.
Yeah, and that's what I like. That's
we used to stay and walk the track after every race and like talk about all the lines and all the shit that was, you know, like all that sort of stuff.
And I'm not talking about like nationals, because nationals, it's our job and it's a professional event, you know, like that's different.
Well, I think that's what that's why you're seeing like the Transmoto stuff be so popular. There's some rides, man, people always message me, be like, you always leave out this one, but I can't remember the name of it, but Mick does it, and it's like a big trail ride, just goes all through, and there's like hundreds of dudes, and it's like, it's just it's fun, and I think that's why you're seeing those events do so well now. And like Day in the Dirt's massive, because it's like, you're there to race, and like the racing's fun, but it's like all the other shit's what you really talk about. You know, like me and Sam raced each other last Day in the Dirt. But it's like barely what we talked about. That was like one sentence of like, fucking we did this and we did this. And it's like, so I mean, I don't know. That's why I think that stuff is coming back. Yeah,
well, my uncle sends photos, like 100 photos to my old man about the rim stickers that he's put on. You know, on his wheels, like on his rims. He couldn't really care going to a race, racing and pinning it back, because he just wants to be there and show everyone his rim stickers. Like, that's, as stupid as it sounds, that's what's cool about motorbikes, is the parents, especially the parents of junior kids, is, remember we all like get our wheels anodized, like the Hunters have blue wheels, and everyone turn up and be like, yeah, sick. Well, that was the parents thing. We turned up like, check out the pushy that I painted, like let's go build a jump, like, oh, I'll put like a smaller sprocket on the front. Like, all the kids, you know, we're just like into that, and it was kind of racing sick. But that's what I see, the biggest change from when I raced dirt bikes when I was a kid, my junior career, to now is like, it's like it's almost more of a race to the event and home than what it used to be. Like, you know, Toowoomba had the Troy Carroll bar. Like, Troy Carroll was the man back in the day and won so many championships, and Toowoomba done a bar for him, and that's where everyone hung out, like, after the race. It's not necessarily about getting on the piss, because it wasn't like, my dad don't drink much at all, but it was just like sitting around, just talking chatting, stories, and having like the Mareeba breakups. Like, we used to have slip and slides and the stuff that we used to get up to. Well, good example, there used to be half a dozen of us kids, and I was the one driving in the Suzuki Jeep, jumping the jumps around the track. You know, picking up all the flags and stuff at the end of the race. Can you imagine that now? No, you couldn't do it now, eh? Imagine going to your local club here, and like a 14, 13-year-old kid's in there with half a dozen kids. Like, you know, and I don't know. It's not like I'm like, man, that shouldn't happen, but it just does happen. I know things can happen and whatever, like injuries and stuff, but they don't, do they? Like, right. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, no, we were all fine. I'm not sure, because the most dangerous thing I think I've ever done, so in Atherton up in Cairns, it floods, it rains. I think it's only just stopped raining now from the start of the year. Proper rain. Now, the thing that we did was we used to go in and get car tyre tubes, and we used to go down the flooded rivers. Now, I got Mum to pick us up at Malanda one day, because we ended up, I'm talking, it's like a 40-minute drive from our house at Malanda, and I got Mum to come pick us up, and she just went mental. Because it's sketchy. I remember going off these waterfalls and stuff, and there's no chance you could get me to do it now. Like, I'm a full-grown dude, and I feel like I'm in for a challenge. Like, you know, I'm not scared of much. Like, I'll have a crack. But that's gnarly.
Yeah, nowadays you're like, fuck that.
The stuff that we went off, like, you're just like, what if? Like, we didn't have that as kids. What if? What if there's a log under there, man? Like, facing this way and you go off the waterfall and land on it.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't check the water. Didn't even know if there's rocks down there. Oh, mate, Jack would be in front and Jake in front of him and be like, you reckon we go down? And Jake would just be like, yep, push him off. He goes down. Yeah, he made it, so we go down. Like, but did we get hurt? Like, I broke my first bone when I was like 19 when I broke my collarbone.
Yeah. But I think it's like the more you wrap a kid up in cotton wool, it's like a callus. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't get hurt that much as kids because it was like you always did it. So it's like you had a callus of getting hurt. But then I think when you like wrap a kid in bubble wool, there's no in cotton wool, there's no they're not tough. They're not, you know, you don't develop like that thick skin or that ability to be like dodge this or swim.
Yeah, they don't know what happens when
Yeah.
the current's pulling you down to the next waterfall and you got to swim grab the tree.
Yeah, well, but that's the stuff where it's like, I think the more you wrap a kid up in cotton wool or whatever, it's like the more chance they do have of getting hurt because it's just the exposure's not there.
Yeah.
So then when they do decide to do some dumb shit one day, they're completely not prepared for it. Where it's like, I feel like at least we were pretty prepared for dumb shit because like we did a lot of dumb shit. Yeah. Like, dude, I remember we made at Cliff 2 one day and we made...
That was big, eh?
I think we called it like Cliff 2.2 or something like that. And we made like we walked up higher and we made like a mud slide down to where you jump off, and it was just pissing down, and it was just that red clay. So we made this mud slide, man, and I remember there was like a rock in it, and I just like, we didn't pull it out. And I remember the first time I did it, I hit that fucking rock, man. I thought I completely broke my asshole off. And then it sent me upside down, and I'm just winding the windows down, upside down. Just landed on my fucking back, man. Just flat, and like just full crumpled me, eh? I thought I was going to die. But it's like, oh, well, not doing that again.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's just endless stories. Like, I remember doing a double backflip for the first time. We're at Russell Lock, and then it was pitch black at night. And I was just that amped that I could do a double flip. So swing out, double flip, land in the water, easy, swim down, swim to come up, and I hit my face on the ground. Like, I'm nearly out of air, man. You know, but you don't die. Like, all this stuff, like, there's heaps of stuff. But yeah, kind of got off subject a little bit. I was just thinking then, I was like, I'm such a hypocrite. Like, I watch podcasts, you know, like, podcast is new, you know. I only knew about it when you start doing them. I'm not savvy with all this sort of stuff. I just got Instagram, I think.
Have you started listening to any podcasts though?
Yeah, so Maddie's sending me a bunch of podcasts. Yeah. So there's like an SAS dude, like a podcast about him, and so I put it on. I'm like, oh, sick! Like, I love that stuff. So he comes on, starts yarning like this, and I'm just like, man,
get on topic, bro.
Like, tell me about who you shot through the like how many like dudes like jumped you, and like when you got zip tied up and you like they threw you in the water and you had to like get out of it. Like, I want to hear stuff, you know. And it pretty funny because I was like, shit, we're bad. Like, you can talk with your hand in your mouth underneath the water, and that's how you got this job. Like, I was actually laughing when I was driving here. I was like, man, this is so funny. Like, went from spray painting your pants when I first met you to just like, and you going off. I think you were still talking when you were in the house. Like, and that's what you do now. Like, you got a successful podcast studio, and like, it's just insane, you know. And I was just some young kid riding a bike, and that's what I do now. And I love to talk, and now we're here just talking crap. I think we spoke about my trip for like 5 minutes.
But it's funny though, like, because that's the thing that it's sort of like, I mean, it doesn't really give me the shits, but you see people, they'll be like when Jack Freestone was on, the surfer, I was talking to him for like 20 minutes about why I should read fucking books more. Yeah. And it's like, and people get the shits, but it's like, you're not in there, bro. Like, we're just talking. Like, I'm not actually thinking about... I'm not thinking about other people listening to it either, because like you know, you might want to hear about one thing. This dude wants to hear about another. I don't know what people want to hear about. Like, the reason this podcast, people listen to it, it's not because I know what people want to listen to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They just like your voice and stuff, eh?
No, not that. But it's like, but people, when people come and they get like in their head are like, I want to hear this. It's like, fuck, dude, sorry. You might not.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, then you'll just start talking. You'll go off on a random fucking tangent about, you know, going down rivers or whatever. But like, but it's sick because it's just what you want to talk about at the time. So like, it's definitely, it's weird though. Like, it's weird that this is even a thing, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more people want to be able to, I don't know because I don't listen to podcasts that much. Like I said, like I listen to SAS, dude, and I'm just like, man, you need to tell me some cool shit, you know? And I guess it's more people want to hear what they're doing. Like if Eli Tomac, you know, they want to know, like, how often do you wear a cowboy hat, man? Why? You know? Because we all watch them. We all know what they get up to. Like, honestly, to tell you the truth, if I heard a podcast from them, I'd want to hear, like Tomac's knowing out on the ranch and stuff. I want to hear like how he learned about lassoing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't give two shits about his training because I do my training. Like, that's great. And he ain't going to tell me about his training anyway. I tell some things, but I'm not telling you all my training. Like, that's just how an athlete is. But, you know, you want to hear about stuff like, you know, I guess, like my chick loves surfing. We all love surfing. The other day we went for a surf and I think the waves were the smallest I've ever surfed. Like, they weren't even as big as this table. We had a ball. It was fun. But I guess people want to hear more about what the athletes are, aren't they?
Well, I think that the thing is that, like, you just can't... It's so subjective of, like, what people want to hear. Like, it's over 100,000 people a month that listen to the show. I can't survey those people and figure out what they want. And so I don't know, like.
Well, you could just send an email out,
just
like
text them.
You know how you email?
Do a group text.
You know all those shitty emails I get from everyone.
I don't have an email thing though. I should do that.
Yeah, you should just like.
But like the thing, you just can't
spam people.
You just can't cater to what people want to hear. Unfortunately, like you just got to have the chat that you can have, you know, and like hope people like it. Because that's the thing. Like I thought about this before. Like I was writing down some stuff yesterday because like. It's kind of weird because this is like a business, but it's sort of not. Like it's like a weird business because all I'm doing is just talking to people that I like. But you've got to make a business around it so that you can keep doing it.
I don't know if you've ever gone in to get a home loan and said that you ride motorbikes for a job.
Really?
Like, you should try doing that. Like you say, like this is a business, but not really. But I'm sure if you went in there and said, oh yeah, what do you do for work? What's your profession? Oh, I do podcasts. They'd be like, oh yeah, sweet, that's awesome. Like, you know, you go in, you're like, oh, I race dirt bikes, and they're like, oh yeah, but like, what do you do? You're like, yeah, I'm that retard that rides motorbikes. Like, you know, it's pretty funny, that stuff actually.
Did you? So like, when you got your loans and stuff, was it actually hard because of your job?
Oh yeah,
really,
massive. Because you're self-employed. For one, we're on like a 12-month contract, you know, so a bank just looks at you and just goes, what? Like, are you serious, mate? Like, you need to go get a job. And you're like, well, I've been doing it forever. Like, and the only thing that gets us, like all the motorbike guys that get loans and stuff, is we go in and we're like, hey, we want to get a loan, this and that. We want to buy this house. And then they're just like, oh yeah, okay, well, you're going to have this deposit and this, and we just go, oh yeah, I'll double it, here you go.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's only, like a motorbike dude, you know, that's because you're self-employed, 1 year contract, all this sort of stuff, high risk, flags, everything. Yeah. We got to have the deposit of the world.
Yeah. Like, dude, I've never even thought about that.
Yeah, it's huge. Like, that side of it, like, honestly, I'd be able to get a house loan way easier if I worked at Bunnings than as a professional motorbike rider.
That's crazy.
It's just that we've got the ability to win races because it's all bonus structured. Obviously we get a wage in that, but they just count that out like banks. So it's all about the deposit, really.
That's crazy. Yeah, I've never really even thought about. Well, I've never even tried to get a home loan, so I'm just like fucking. I got to figure that shit out at some points.
Yeah, have a kid first.
Yeah, I know. Fucking hell, that's even worse. But yeah, like it is. Yeah, it's funny. Like when you do this sort of, or like it's. I mean, I feel like for you though, like it's easier to structure because it's like you sort of know what you got to be doing. This has been like a weird business for me because I'm like, I wake up in the day and it's like this morning I knew you were coming on. We had a time, blah, blah, blah. Get up, take the dog for a run, fucking do some emails, set up the studio. This is on. And then now I can edit it and blah, blah, blah. But it's not like I'm doing that every day.
Yeah.
So it's like you'll do maybe 2 a week. But then I got all that time and it takes time to do tons of other like setup stuff. But it's like, it's been weird to figure out like how to even go about just like a daily, like running this as a business.
Yeah.
Like it's been weird, like, because I've always just had like editing to do 24/7. Then I've like got editing projects on, and then I've got filming stuff, and it's always overlapping, and you're always juggling the two. It's like there's always something to do, whereas this is just like, it's weird. There's a little bit more freedom, but I still want to treat it like a full-time business.
Yeah,
and then
but
at the same time, I don't want to just like spam cunts all day.
yeah, but that's the cool thing about that's being self-employed and run your own business. Like anything, if you're a builder, electrician, blah, 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 you go out on your own, all of a sudden, boom, like same thing. You got to go get a job. Oh yeah, I'm just wiring up some old mate's light today. Yeah. Like, cause I got nothing else on, and then you might not have any work, and it just builds and builds. Like soon you might be doing podcasts every day and editing. You'll be like, man, I need to employ someone.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's just a business. Like, we've seen it with Maddie, with management and doing that stuff. Like he's just grown and grown and created like a great business, and it's like anything, whether you're a builder or whatever, investing in homes, it's all the same, eh? Man,
it blows me away. Like, keep pushing this closer.
No, I get away from that thing.
I know you're like
yeah.
It's crazy that like the group and we had Jesse Dobson and Nathan Crawford on last week, and they were laughing like fucking cans, man. Like you boys are so weird, like from up there, like because it was so different.
Why? Because we don't wear the tight pants with all the holes in them
and the denim jacket. Yeah, Jesse. But like the crew that we had, like it is pretty crazy. Like Matty kills it with Toby, Sam kills it with Fist. Like. You got, not that Sam grew up with it.
I was gonna say, Sam's not from. Sam's from Tassie. It's like complete opposite.
Since I was like 18.
Yeah.
So still.
But aren't you talking about Cairns?
Yeah, true. But like you look at what Jats did, you look at what Wade Hunter. Now you look at the Evans brothers.
Yeah.
Like it is a trip that little crew. But then even now, like down in Burleigh, it feels like you got like Matty Mack, you got Matty, you got Alan Hart. But well, dude, even Alan Hardy's from Cairns. Yeah. So it's like, it's pretty crazy the crew that you end up like, that we were all surrounded by, and now feels like everyone's killing it.
But it's not weird. It goes back to like I'm saying, like with the kids over in Europe kicking ass, like they're given that opportunity sort of thing. When we were sort of growing up, it was, to tell you the truth, like Alan was kind of not part of, like he's done it.
We weren't hanging out with him all the time.
No, well he's kind of gone off before us.
Yeah, true.
Like I did a film with him when I was young, 16 or something. Like he did a little part with me in it, but he sort of left first. But all of us, we fed off each other.
Yeah.
It was like I won an Aussie title when I was 12. Like I was the oldest of them all. Like I won an Aussie title. And then Pete Richo built amazing tracks and like gave us the opportunity. We'd ride twice a week down at Pete's, and there'd be Jats, Mitch. Mitch was, when I was riding, he was on a 50 and a 60.
That sort of does speak to what you were saying with
everyone.
Like, because we weren't like, well, I was a senior when you guys were still juniors, but it's like you guys weren't allowed to ride with the seniors, but you were allowed to ride with like Wes Jenkins, and then like at at Richo's place,
Yeah.
and then Mitch was able to ride with you, and Jats was and Wade. So those boys all were able to like ride off the back of you.
Yeah.
And then like because Wes was there a bit.
Yeah.
So it's like at least in the training side of things, like everyone got to be together, everyone got to push themselves, and like Pete would always build tracks where it didn't matter if you're on a 250 or an 85. So it's like Jats would be super fast as well.
Yeah. Well, I seen it with, like, I started winning races and we'd go to an Aussie title, and I think one year we brought 5 Aussie titles back to Cairns.
It's crazy, eh?
I was the first, when I won that Aussie title, it hadn't been done in I think like 25 years, and that was only once it had been done.
From Cairns?
Yeah, from like
it?
the area. Oh, I don't know. An older guy. But I just remember mum and dad saying that.
Really?
And then a few years later, like we were all trained together. We'd ride, my program was Tuesday, Thursday. We'd ride, and everyone was coming, and I remember hopping in the Bobcat and building jumps for the 50s, and we used to just ride all like
the whole
hours,
time,
hours and hours.
I remember like the flat track even.
Yeah.
Like that was sick.
So that just goes to show, like myself, I sort of set like a bit of a thing, and then all of a sudden I won Aussie titles, and like people are like, oh man, like we can do that,
Yeah.
And then I turned senior, won senior races, and so then it gives like a proper, where people are hungry because they're like, Todd's been riding with us all the time, like he ain't nothing special, like, and then they push, like that's my kind of point. Like if that was around me, like, because I was feeding off Jats and that, in actual fact, like Wes come every now and again, but we were kind of similar.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'd be the same speed as him anyway. Like, you're probably faster back then.
Like, imagine if Villapoto was there and I'm, then it's just time and it's kind of going to happen, Like you've seen with all the boys I rode with the whole time. Mitch is on a 65. He's in Europe now.
Yeah.
Like, Dean went to Europe. I got myself over there. Fair chance Mitch is like, man, I need to be over there. Like,
yeah.
Like it creates momentum, and from a business side as well, you guys are involved, like we're all there, and then
that's like the only reason really I think that my film and stuff took off is like because I was around you, and then like I'd go from that to then we'd be doing the Queenslands, and then you'd introduce like I'd be like getting to know Ford, and then my first ever interview I did was with Reardon, so it's like that.
Yeah,
it was just being around those guys all the time. Yeah,
like for me, like you're like, hey bro, like I got this camera, I want to come out and film. I'll be like, shit, yeah, like So you come out, build a video, and I thought it was great, so I'm promoting the hell out of it, and it just steps through everyone. Then you're in the States, same thing. Maddie got a gig with Johnny, and I was doing some stuff with Maddie, like with Von Zipper and GoPro and this and that. And then I went to Europe, and Matty he's always on to me about the social media stuff. And I was like, bro, you just run it. Like I'll give you some cash. You look after that. Like, and obviously Toby, he was living with Toby. Yeah. And it's just that simple. Yeah. Like, honestly, like Matty was there with Toby. I was doing stuff in Europe. He had 2 quite good athletes, to start doing some stuff. And then Toby won Dakar a few years later or something. And it grows. Like, it's networking. That's the thing. Networking is incredible.
But it didn't feel like that crazy to any of it. Like, I never felt like it was that big of a jump to do. You know what I mean? Like, we were always around each other. I felt like everyone was a highlight. It just didn't feel like doing a video with, I was like, I did one with Todd, I'll just do one with George, or Todd's going to the Nationals, I'll just go to the Nationals. And so I don't know, it just never felt like it was that big of a deal. And I think you just start doing it. But I think that if you're a kid and you if you don't have that person around, or if you don't have those kind of guys in your circle or whatever, then maybe it looks so far away, or so so distant, like a challenge that you couldn't overcome. I suppose if you look at it, it's more so if you look at it just as like the end goal of like, I want to be in America. Like, imagine if the first time I did a video with you, I was like, I'm going to do this video and then I'm going to go to America. Yeah. Like it's impossible. Yeah. Like you can't make that jump. Yeah. And it'd be the same as a racer. I'm going to race Mariba Club Championship, and then I'm just going to go race Hangtown. Yeah. So it's like, it's the it's like not looking at the big picture as the only thing.
Yeah.
It's like just doing literally like the next 2% better, 2% better, 2% better.
Yeah, well, they say like goal setting, you know, they
big goals
have that, micro goals and all that sort of stuff, and we do it. Like, I go to all these things like psychs and stuff like that, and they're such a great tool for an athlete, only because they give you like I don't know, someone telling you. Because at the end of the day, they spin you all this bullshit. Like when you're sitting there and you go home, you're like, yeah, I know that. Like, it's nothing new.
But
in
it's
actual
just
fact,
like someone telling you.
Yeah, what you just told me, I do every day, bro.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just the fact someone telling you, and then you being aware of it. That's the biggest thing. Being aware of things and then
forming
acting
it as
on
a
it.
habit.
So then same thing, like anything, whether you're training or whatever. Like this morning, like I'm still feeling a bit jet lagged, and I went for a 2-hour cycle, and I'm out there, and I'm just like, man, like I'm not feeling it, but I'm doing it. At the end of the month, I did these cycles and this, which grows to this, you know. When I lay in bed and go, oh, I couldn't be stuffed, you know, well then you don't progress. So whether it's cycling, business, anything, you set your small goals and you just do them. Like that's what micro goals are. Whether it's, you know, today I'm going to build this table and then I'm going to edit because I got a table, blah, 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 for the end goal to get to America. Like, and you gotta break things down and work hard for it. And that's what is helping me this year. My girlfriend Jill, she's a physio, and they did like in their degree, they do like 3 years sports exercise science. So, pretty much all your trainers at the gym and stuff like that, she's actually a lot more qualified than them. So, you know, my trainer Jarrah down in Melbourne, he creates all my supplements and communicates with Jill. And the thing that Jill really helps me with now is I know how to train, I know what I got to do, this and that. But she writes it down, man. Like, you know, I just open my eyes and I just go, oh yeah, Thursday, yep, got stretching, I got cycle. Yeah. And then I got time off, I go P3 and I do my bike and I go riding these days, and it's friggin' simple. Like, that is the easiest thing for me is they're micro goals. Yeah. For the end goal, 8-week program to win a championship. Can't control if you're going to win the championship.
But you can control all the shit up to it.
So when you stand there and you got second, you're like, well, I did all my shit. Like, instead, previously, I thought I knew how to train. I did know how to train. But there'd be times where I'd miss, where it'd be like, oh, I've got to do my bike and that. And I didn't do my cycle. You know, and because I don't have it all written down at the end of the month, I probably missed 3 cycles or this and that. So it's big doing, that's what they talk about, goal setting. And not many people nail it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, dude, even like yesterday, man, I was sitting there with Maddie and I was like, oh, I'm just a bit lost on what to do day to day at the moment. Yeah. And then it's so easy to waste time. Yeah. And I wrote, like, it's fucking weird. I don't know why. I just wanted to do it that particular day. But I was talking to Matt, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go home and I'm going to write down all the shit in my life that makes me happy, and then all the shit in my life that makes me unhappy. Yeah. And I wrote down, like, Ricky and Hurley, family, friends, the podcast, jiu-jitsu, surfing. There's a few other like readings in there, but like they were like my main goals. And then or like my main things that make me happy. Yeah. And then I wrote Ricky and Hurley. Yeah, doing pretty good here. Probably should do this, this and this. Need to make sure Hurley's getting at least a run every day, because we always take him to the beach and shit. But it's like I wrote it down and I was like, all right, I'm doing all right in that area. And then it was like jiu-jitsu. I'm doing really good in this area, but I probably spend too much time on this, and I probably think about it too much, and I probably need to turn off my brain from it. But it's hard when you've got goals and competitions and like to switch off. But it's like that's a good outlet, because your brain's gonna focus on something that much, whether you like it or not. So it's like you should have control. So, but I went through and I wrote all those, and then I wrote down the shit that makes me unhappy. And it's not like a person, it's not a thing, it's shit that I do with myself, like wasting time, scrolling on social media, letting friends down, not calling people back. You know, it's like little things where it's like, it was it's shit that I would do to other people, but that was the stuff that actually makes me unhappy.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, well, wasting time. Well, I used to run on a schedule. So I used to do my calendar in every day, and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to wake up at 7, and then I'm going to have 40 minutes of just doing whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Whether it's like watching YouTube, watching whatever, reading a book, that's just my time. Then breakfast, and then first I'm going to do emails. And it's like 20 minutes, and you just like fully block your whole day. And I started running like fucking really well. Like I was getting all my shit done, and I felt accomplished every day. Yeah. And like you look down and I'm like, done, sick. I did all that shit. And if you can, sneak some time back, you're like, oh, now I've got a bit of extra time for me. Yeah. But it was like in my head, you'd think it was like a negative to be dictated like your time every day. And then I was like, no, it's not a positive. Like I'm making these choices. Like I'm not in trouble and I've got to stick to this schedule. Like I made the choice to make this schedule. So now you should make the choice to like not let yourself down and finish it. But it is funny how that does work, where you put it up on a whiteboard or you put it in a diary and you hold yourself to it. And then like, with the state titles are on this weekend, everyone's like, how you feeling about the state titles? I was like, man, I've done everything. Like if I fucking get beat, then I get beat. Yeah. It's either I've made a mistake or that dude's just better. I couldn't try any harder leading up to it. And it's like, and that's like a good feeling, Yeah. Yeah. And that, pretty much going back to that structure, that's why people have trainers. That's what trainers do. Yeah, they give you the structure. Yeah, because I have heaps of people on social media just sending me messages like, hey man, what do you do for training? What should I do here? Blah, blah, blah. Like, like it's not rocket science. You just do it every day and do what you're supposed to do. You gotta remember, when I was 14, 15, we didn't have phones. I didn't have a phone. Like, there was Google, but no one knew to just go on Google and like type things up. Man, you could almost do brain surgery now with the amount of stuff that's out there. Yeah, you know what I mean? Right, like going on, I use YouTube so much. Like how to gyp rock my house. Yeah, I built this fucking studio off YouTube basically. It's insane. Like the amount of stuff. It's just, now my dad lives on it. And I always thought, my dad doesn't have a dad. So dad was my YouTube kind of thing growing up. Like phone dad, hey dad, how do I do this? Like this and that. He didn't have that. He just had to figure it out. Did shit. And my dad's incredible. Like your car blows up, he'll be there rebuilding the engine, putting a new gearbox in it, this and that. Then he'll go build you the most beautiful timber grandfather clock ever. Like he's won that many awards for his timber work, like timber kitchens that he does and stuff like that. It's just high level. And he'll be rebuilding he rebuilt this big end loader at Granddad's farm the other day. Like the stuff, and I'm like, who? Like I phone you up, hey dad, like the engine's blowing up. Like what do I do? How, like, what parts do I get? And he's, oh yeah, he's like Google. I don't understand it. So I always get amazed at that with seeing this next generation, because we're kind of savvy on that, Like I started doing some video edits. You helped me out with that last year, and you were like, man, just get YouTube, Premiere Pro everything. And just go on YouTube. I'd say to Todd, this is like a good thing, because I get this question heaps. I've never said it on the podcast. If pretend like you were texting me a question, but just type that into YouTube. It's retarded. That's all you have to, like, my whole film career is, because YouTube, well, it was a bit harder for me because there wasn't as much like 10, 12 years ago. So it was like very limited. And there, I probably learned a lot more by myself than what you'd have to these days. But man, that's like building this studio, like all the soundproofing stuff, like it's all off. If I had, if Google was my friend or YouTube was my friend, what would I text them? Yeah. And it's like, hey, how do I do make it go from fast motion to slow motion? That's it. And something will come up. Yeah. It's like, you've just got to put in the time to do that. Like people, and it'd be the same for training, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's just time and having a bit of structure, and that just comes back to yourself, really. Yeah. And just accountability. Yeah. You just got to do it. Like you said, you did it. I do it. Like, what's funny, it just because I went away from it. Yeah. And then I found myself, and I'm like, I was just feeling shit. I'm like, well, I feel shit because like I know I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
And I know I'm doing. It's like those are like I have a clear idea of like the shit that makes me unhappy. It's not my boss yelling at me. It's not my dickhead neighbor. It's not like I don't have any of those things. The only things that make me unhappy is when I don't do the shit that I feel like I should do.
Yeah.
And it's like all you do to fix that is just stop wasting time. Stop. It's not hard. You just have to like hold yourself accountable. Write down the shit, like choose what you want and write it down and then do it. And then when you do it, you'll feel good. It's that simple.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Done. Wait, so I got to be at a thing. I don't know what you've got to do.
Ooh.
But
I'm going to get a pie with Maddie.
Oh yeah. Whereabouts?
At the bakery up here.
Which one?
Mermaid Bakery.
Oh,
it's insane.
You bastards.
The crazy thing is when I leave the country, I don't eat pies and stuff. Like,
but you want
it's
it so
not my
bad
thing.
when you come back.
But when I leave, I was over there and I was like, man, I just want a pie.
Oh, bro. I know exactly how you feel.
And you know what the other funny thing is like getting older and stuff, and people like, I put so much energy into diet when I was like younger, and obviously you want a diet, like just eat healthy and blah, blah, blah. But I see the younger generations, like Nikki's boyfriend, Blake, he's like quite, like, oh, I can't have that, this and like sugar and whatever. I'm just like, man, like it's not like that really.
Yeah.
When I went to Red Bull to the training facility in Austria, they're Germans, man. They're like computer screen, Todd's name, like physio. You got training in the morning, physio, lunch, like sports psych training, home time. Like, boom, blocked out. You have 40 minutes for lunch. Like, just got enough time to have a shower in between. Like, it's like, they're Nazis, man. They're just like full on. And when they're on you, they're just like, you're not fit enough. You have no base fitness. Like, and just staring at you. And you're like, well, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, yes, but your intensity, you must just train high heart rate. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't even know what heart rate is. I just run, man. Like, and they're just like full on. I spent like 12 weeks there doing this block and improved like huge. And then I said to him like, diet, like, and I'd be asking him a question. I'd be on the cycle bike for 2 hours indoors, like driving himself mad, and he'd be walking around taking your blood every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Michael, like diet, like how come you don't do that? Where every morning I walk in here, you take my blood to see where my CK level is, to see if I've recovered from the day before, and like it is full on, man. And he's like, oh, you just need to eat healthy. Like, yeah, but how come there's not a dietitian? Like, because if I go eat Macca's, I feel like shit. Like, it is pretty important. And he's like, oh, you just eat healthy. And I said, alcohol. What about alcohol? And he's like, alcohol affects your recovery. So obviously you drink alcohol, your recovery, you're not going to recover from your training the day before. But the problem is then you go out all night, so you didn't sleep. So that it just snowballs with that. And he said, but beer is fine. He's like, the hops and stuff, it's actually good to drink. Over in Germany, they have alcohol-free beer. And he's like, lots of people hear about
carbs.
Yeah, lots of people hear about wine. Like, in Italy, they say it's really healthy for your digestive system. All this sort of stuff you hear. Like, so like now, I eat healthy and stuff, but it's like I go have a pie with Maddie. Go grab a pie, makes me feel happy because I've been craving a pie. As long as I'm not eating a pie every day, because obviously that's going to result in me being 90 kilos and I'm going to get shitter starts.
But it wouldn't even be like that because you just do, it's just calories in, calories out. Like you're burning a lot of calories.
Yeah, but then there's like a point, for me, a perfect diet is like your protein, whether you have your chicken or your fish or, I eat a lot of salmon and stuff. I have rice because it's like, I feel it's lighter than pasta. Pasta, if you eat, you want to have a sleep.
Yeah.
Or breads. You just learn. You just have like a basic
and it's pretty individual. Like
thing around.
Yeah, it's pretty, it affects people differently.
Yeah.
But I've noticed because like I've had to cut weight this week and I've only really eaten like veggies, steamed veggies or roast veggies, chicken, and salads.
But you feel good?
I fucking do.
Yeah.
And you know what?
That's the difference.
It sucks, because like, man, I don't eat good. Like, I train so much that I don't put on any weight, bro. Like I put on maybe, I've had to lose like 2 kilos, but I eat like fucking shit. And it's a 2 kilo difference to me eating really good.
Yeah.
But the big difference is like how I feel. And even, I don't know whether it's like the food or it's just because it's close to a big competition, but like my intensity at training, like I'm just fucking sending it. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know whether that's the food, but before, like the last few weeks before this comp, like I didn't even want to do it because I just been feeling shit. And then I was like, no, I'm signing myself up because then it's just going to force me to like get my head back into it.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I don't know whether it's the food or it's like just the fact that I do have to do this competition, but I feel a lot better. Like I got a lot more energy and just overall you just feel like you're ready to fucking suck the day's dick instead of just staying in fucking bed.
Yeah.
So, all right, thanks for doing this, bro. I appreciate it. Always a bloody good time. Can't believe it's been like a year.
Don't
since
cut
you
me
did
it.
it.
Like that, bro.
You gotta go. You gotta have a pie, and I gotta fucking have a massage. No, we got one of the dudes at the gym. He's like a I don't know, sports therapist dude. And like, cause the comp's on.
I'm
the
not
weekend.
into it, eh?
What's that?
I hate getting massages from dudes.
But,
It's just not
yeah.
for me. Getting a haircut from a dude, nah.
Really?
Nah.
Have you ever been to a barber shop?
Yeah, nah.
Dude, you
Because-
gotta go to the boys. What's the
But
name?
I don't get, like, for me, a haircut's like
Yeah,
cruising
you got no
in.
style.
Nah, there's heaps of style. No, a haircut for me is like going in, then washing your hair. That's insane.
Dude,
The
7
head
and
massage.
7 and 1 studios. I'm gonna book you in. The boys are fucking legends. They're just
Yeah.
they're in like Mermaid. You know where the High Smile thing is in Mermaid?
Yeah.
They're there, and they're the 2 lords, bro.
Yeah.
So get a
I don't
haircut.
have a beard, man.
No, but
And I don't want shaved sides or anything. Like,
true.
I just want a head massage. I only go to get a hair. You know me, I'd have hair down to here. I just cruise in and get the head massage. They shampoo it up. I hate my hair being shampooed because it goes fluffy.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But they just shampoo it up, give the head massage, have a bit of a snooze while they're doing that. Have a chat about who they want to bitch you out.
I like massages from dudes because the chicks don't have strong hands.
Nah, man. There's
Except for Sheridan she was really good.
but at Burleigh, like James Street, the first Thai massage place on the left, that's
Really?
where we all go.
Really?
It's insane. Those small little Thai girl comes out and you're just like, oh yeah, sweet.
Why not?
This is going to be crappy. And you're just there going,
Gets
you
pumped.
say that, what pressure you want? And you're like, oh, firm.
Yeah.
And through, I'm just going,
Fuck.
next
Like,
time
they're
I'm
all
going to say
elbows and
medium,
shit.
mate. Yeah, they're insane. The Thai girls are the best at massaging. It's good.
Good times. Righto, mate. Sorry to cut you off. You know I love you and I want you here all the time, but thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's
Do it
good.
again.
Yeah.
Come do it after you win the championship. That'd be good.
I'll hold you to it.
Yeah, let's do it. When you win, we'll do it. Thanks very much to Todd for coming on. You can follow Todd on Instagram at ToddWaters47.
Yep.
Right? And then he will be racing the MX Nationals for the rest of the year in the 450 class. He's trying to win his first championship. I'm cheering for him. And yeah, go do more of the same. And we're going to give away a jersey as well. I'll say about that at the start of the show. Got to figure out how we do it, but it's one you raced in the US.
Yeah. One at the US,
more.
we'll grab one of those, give it away. We're doing a heap of cool stuff. We've got KTR on board, so I'll give out some key rings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They're
sweet.
doing some clothing stuff. What else we got happening? Wade Lewis is doing some cool art. We did like a privateer
Yeah, where can
t-shirt.
people get that?
So toddwaters.com.
Yeah.
We've got like this and another privateer one. Yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff that we're working on. Should be cool.
Sweet, bro. All right, mate. Well,
Wicked.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jace.
You.